Hey, I'm on the edge of my seat here, back again with a brand new video, and today I will be no damaging all the long battles in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Well, I mean, I have a tendency to say Like a Dragon 8 or Yakuza 8, but the title is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And yeah, I have not done a video of this style in a long while. I have not no damaged like the long battles, like beat 'em up sections, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know like what name these sections go by in the series because I've heard so many different connotations. But long battles was like a very popular one for a while. I don't know if that's changed. And also for this game specifically, I don't even know if it applies. Because, I mean, I don't really think these are long battles. These are more dungeons. These are like main story dungeons. But to kind of keep it with the theme of the rest of the series, I'm just going to call these sections long battles. And yeah, no. I've been wanting to do a video like this for a while, but it did feel kind of redundant since I've already done all the boss fights in this game. So I kind of felt like, playing the other games or doing Roblox versions of the other games. But I've kind of already done that. And I think the main motivator for why I kind of wanted to jump on this video is I just got a brand new PC. For the longest time, I have not had a good PC setup. Like, I've had laptops, I've had a MacBook, and then I had a Steam Deck. I mean, I still have a Steam Deck, I still have a MacBook, but I don't use the MacBook for gaming, like, at all anymore. Honestly, the Steam Deck has basically, like, replaced it in that category, but now I actually have a fully built PC. In fact, I actually have the parts I used to build it. A good friend of mine just kind of like did a little PC builder thing, just kind of showed it off to me, and I just bought all those specific pieces and went from there. I do not know how to build a PC though. The construction of this video you're seeing right now, of it being recorded in 4K at this like fidelity of 60 FPS, is, yeah, I have to thank two friends of mine, because if they did not help me out with this, this would not exist at this current time. But yeah, the pieces I used for this brand new PC, which is running Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth at 4K, 60 FPS, CPU, Intel Core i7-14700K 3.5 GX Z20 core processor, okay? CPU cooler. I really do want to talk strategy here, but it's pretty straightforward. This is a turn-based game. And yes, we are playing on the hardest difficulty, on Legend. Yes, all my characters are mostly completely like maxed out, kind of, but not really. But for this first section, they are beyond over leveled. But on Legend difficulty, all the enemies get like scaled way up. So like Legend difficulty in this game is absolutely designed around New Game Plus. The only other game which could apply in that category is the Kuruhyo games. Like playing X hard in like Kuruhyo 1 or Kuruhyo 2 is just a lost cause. The enemies have so much health that it's basically pointless. They actually expect you to, have played the game previously on like hard or normal or easy. Like they want you to do New Game Plus, because if you do New Game, it's just going to be disastrous. And that also kind of applies to Yakuza 3, but to a much lesser extent. I mean, some of those early fights on Legend, on New Game, in Yakuza 3 can take quite a while, but nowhere near as long as some of the stuff in Kuruhyo, and definitely nowhere near as long as like, Yakuza 7 Legend on New Game, or Yakuza 8 Legend on New Game. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just straight up impossible to beat some of the boss fights in that, unless you do like some insane 2,000 hour grinding sort of stuff. Anyways, back to building the PC. But yeah, no, the multiple tangents is going to be very normal in this video, because this video is just slightly shorter than like my Yakuza 8 boss fights no damage. And that video was like 2 hours, like 57 minutes or something. This is only like slightly 10 to less or more like minutes, less. It's still a nearly 3 hour long video, so I'm just going to keep yapping, and hopefully y'all find that entertaining. But the reason I brought up like a 2,000 hour grind in terms of the Yakuza 7 or Yakuza 8 if you play it on Legend on New Game is because someone did something very peculiar with the first Kingdom Hearts game. Basically, like, they did this test where can they reach level 100 on Destiny Islands. If you have not played the first Kingdom Hearts game, I recommend it. It's a really good game. There's this like beginning area, and it's basically like a tutorial area before the game actually starts. It's like, sets up the story, like teaches you like your moves and all that. Like, you don't really do too much on that island, but you can earn XP. So a guy was like, I really want to reach level 100 on this island specifically before doing anything else in the game. And you can do it. It just requires an insane amount of hours. It's like what, like 200, 300, 400 hours? Like, it was like ridiculous, but you know what, like they did it. So that was like a funny little meme. In terms of like what moves I'm doing here, I mean, I'm kind of just trying to keep it fresh, because I don't really need to do these moves, like, these weaker moves. I already have like the strongest move in the game. I have like Dolphin Dive, I have the laser, I can just spam those, but I'm not really doing that right now because I don't need to. These enemies don't have that much health. And the way I'm doing this no damages of the long battles, I'm doing everything in one take. So this like Seiryu Clan level, I'm kind of like, you know, starting it from when I talk to a character to begin an extended sequence of like combat to like the final boss fight of that extended sequence of combat. So, you know, we start, you know, swimming into the dungeon and we end with the final boss fight of this area. And yeah, this dungeon is a lot easier than like the first Yakuza 7 dungeon on Legend specifically. Like Yakuza 7's dungeons is also a video I really wanted to make, but I think the final Millennium Tower, like, you know, dungeon may be impossible. It's just the way like the different like new game plus modes are balanced. Because another fun fact, so when Yakuza 7 like released, it was still during the time where there was a separation between like the Japanese and English releases of the game, where, you know, Yakuza 7 dropped in Japan, and like a year after we get it in English, right? It took like a really long time for it to come over. So when the game like released in Japan, like, you know, Yakuza 7, it didn't have New Game Plus. It only got New Game Plus as a DLC mode like nearly a year later. I'm really glad that Couch killed 2 enemies at the same time, even though these guys do not be killing people like that. But yeah, no, like, Japan got a DLC mode which gave them New Game Plus and the new difficulties, Hard and Legend. Those didn't exist when the game first came out in Japan. So this all happened before the game got brought over to the West. So once the game got brought over to the West, they just added the DLC for free. So, you know, we got that really convenient thing where we actually got to play New Game Plus and got to play on Hard and Legend. But for Yakuza 8, instead of like waiting nearly an entire year for like New Game Plus to be DLC, they just gave it to us immediately at the start when the game released as DLC. So yeah, I did buy the DLC because I bought like the deluxe super special edition when the game fully came out. I did like a little walkthrough, which I just kind of abandoned because I just wanted to play more of the game. Honestly, like the walkthrough structure, like I stopped doing walkthroughs of this game just because it didn't allow me to play it nearly as much as I wanted to. And yeah, I was playing this game on the Steam Deck, which was a really fun time, but it did not allow me to render the graphics to nearly this fidelity. However, you can run Steam Deck games at 4K. They just run very badly. So yeah, for this boss fight, I actually get very risky with this guy because, like, if you let him get a move in, he could hit one of your party members, because at this point in time, your party members have not unlocked their other jobs, which gives them like a little stat boost. But even with the stat boost, you don't get that much agility or evasion in this game. It's like heavily nerfed from Yakuza 7, but the ways you know damage in this game are like more fun. This Yakuza 8's combat system is just a lot more fun to play around with. While in 7, honestly, I mean, Yakuza 7's combat isn't like bad or anything, but it is like more simplistic than this game. This game just has more punch. You know, it feels more like a brawler turned into like a turn-based RPG, while 7 felt a little bit more like simplistic and like, I really wanted to say the word archaic, but I don't think it's that. But honestly, that game kind of feels slightly archaic compared to 8. It's like the jump in gameplay from like 7 to 8 is like the jump in gameplay from like 1 to 2. Even though I really like the gameplay in 1. See, I also like the gameplay in 7, though. I haven't played 7 in a long while, but like, yeah. What I'm saying is I got super lucky here because it's the boss fight's turn next turn, but this like super special move can stun him every now and then. It's like very inconsistent, but it actually stunned him. And even when enemies are like stunned or paralyzed or they fall asleep, sometimes they'll just ignore that status and just try to attack you anyways. In fact, it'll actually happen in this video. And by it'll happen in this video, I mean it's gonna happen like more than 2 hours like later. So, you know, stick around for longer than 2 hours and you're gonna see what I mean. There's gonna be a really great example. It may be the final thing you see in this video. Just little spoilers there. But anyways, back to the PC I was building. So, a CPU cooler. I hope you remember what I said for the CPU. So the CPU cooler is the Corsair like ICUE H100X RGB Elite 47.73 CFM liquid CPU cooler, so that's the cooler I got. The motherboard is the MSI Pro Z790A Max Wi-Fi ATX LGA 1700 motherboard. So this motherboard, I mean, like, it can run the game like this. It's really great. But there's one cheeky thing about this motherboard that you really need to watch out for. So, like, this motherboard comes with, like, its own, like, Wi-Fi antenna. It looks like a little shark fin. And, you know, I got tricked by it because I thought I could use this motherboard and still get Wi-Fi by using Windows 10. That is not the fucking case at all. The way this, like, little Wi-Fi antenna is set up, you need to get Windows 11. It's like a thing where, like, this antenna is, like, this I don't know, it's like some real technical shit. It's like displaying like, you know, Wi-Fi level 7, and like Wi-Fi level 7 doesn't work with Windows 10, so you kind of have to upgrade to very shitty Windows 11 and get rid of Windows 10. Because, I mean, you could maybe not upgrade and use, like, e-internet cables, but, like, the way my room and PC are set up, I don't have access to e-internet, so... Or e-internet, I don't know how to say the word, but Ethernet. So, I'm stuck with using antennas, and, like, the only antenna I could really use at the time for Windows 10 was, like, a USB antenna, and, like, that Wi-Fi is already limited, so... Like, straight up, I was, like, trying so many different, like, tricks, like, jumping through so many different hoops, trying to make the Wi-Fi work on Windows 10, and I was like, oh... Because I kept reading stuff online, like, oh, you have to, like, unplug your memory cord and then put the memory cord back in there. Like, I tried to, like, solve issues, like, specifically with this motherboard, and, like, one of the solutions people mentioned is, oh, upgrade to Windows 11. But then some people say, oh, upgrading to Windows 11 didn't work for me. So I'm like, oh, upgrading to Windows 11 is, like, inconsistent. But let me tell you right now that once I upgraded to Windows 11, the Wi-Fi antenna worked immediately. Dude, it was insane. Because, like, one of the most annoying things is that I was trying to download all the drivers, and I just could not find Wi-Fi drivers for Windows 10. And it's like, yeah, it's just the way the antenna works, that you were never going to find those drivers. It was insane. It was insane. It drove me up a fucking wall. And yeah, this game is running on Windows 11. And it's a shame. I just do not want to upgrade to Windows 11. Like, it just runs slightly slower. Like, I don't like the UI as much. Like, I mean, Windows 10 isn't, like, amazing, but, like, if I could avoid Windows 11, I could, but... I would, but just I couldn't with the exact motherboard I got. So yeah, no, I skipped all of Roman's dialogue here, because if you don't skip all the dialogue and you enter, like, the next, like, trigger point to, like, you know, trigger the cutscene, it won't trigger until you're done talking with Roman. So if you just skip all the dialogue and reach this point, it'll automatically transition to this cutscene here. But if you don't skip all the dialogue and you reach that point and the dialogue is still happening, the little cutscene trigger won't happen until the dialogue is done. So, you know, that's a little speedrun tech there. I'm actually interested in, I'm morbidly curious in speedrunning this game. But, like, every single speedrun I've seen, like, the fastest times are, like, 7 to 9 hours. I don't know if my brain is ready for that. And that's, like, you know, going as fast as possible. And, like, I don't think that's going to be, like, my first run, you know, like, just, like, a common rule of speedrunning. I mean, I've never really speedrunned. But, like, this is something I hear from speedrunners, is that your first run is never going to be good. You just have to accept it. Like, you're never going to get the best run on your first try. So if the best runs are 7 to 8 hours, imagine what a messy run looks like. And also, I haven't even, like, looked at, like, the stats or strategies on how to do that, because, like, that's, like, on New Game. I actually saw, like, a New Game Plus, like, run, and that's more, like, 4 to 5 hours, but I feel like that won't be as fun, you know? Actually, like, one of the most fun things about games is just, like, leveling up, if they have, like, a really fun level up system. And, like a Dragon 8, you know, I also had a lot of fun with Yakuza 7 and its leveling system, even though the scaling isn't great in 7. I talked about this in my Yakuza 8 video, but I don't fully understand what people mean when they say scaling in, like, RPG games. But yeah, no, like, in Yakuza 7, I never felt like I had to grind. I just did, like, a couple sub-stories, you know, like, and I was able to beat every single boss fight without going to, like, a dungeon to grind. And then, you know, there's, like, the famous Chapter 12 boss fight in Yakuza 7, but, like, I didn't have to grind for that one either. I just needed the Masochist Man summon and to do the entire, like, Sotenbori Tower in, like, one go, like, all 30 floors, or 50, I forgot how many floors there are. Maybe some people will consider that grinding, but, like, that was all new content to me, so, like, I don't count that as grinding. And, you know, I'm just doing this tire move with Tomizawa. Very, very nice. Ooh, wow. I should elaborate that, like, for my Yakuza 7 no damage run, I absolutely grinded. The grind was horrible, because I had to, like, max out all the stats, but if you're just playing the game normally on normal, you don't really have to grind much for anything, which, you know, is very different from, like, the other RPGs I've played. But to be fair, a lot of the other RPGs I played, I just played them on the hardest difficulty, like Persona 4 Golden, like, its hardest difficulty. I mean, that just makes the grind harder. Like, I don't know why I did that. I should have just played it on normal, but I was like, yeah, I'm not a pussy. I want to play it on the hardest difficulty. And these guys, you can just skip them if you run fast enough. Oop, yep, I actually did it. Sometimes I fail to do that, but yeah, you can just skip those guys. These guys, I'm pretty sure you can't skip. Oh yeah, no, because you get too close to them. Like, I don't know, the way the triggers work for, like, these, like, long battle dungeon, like, enemy encounters. Certain enemy encounters are skippable, some are not. If you get too close to an enemy, it'll just automatically trigger no matter, like, how much your suspicion meter, like, raises. And you also have to, like, run fast enough toward, like, away from, like, the avoidable enemies where, like, the little suspicion trigger doesn't stay at red for too long, because if it stays on red for too long, it just gets very messed up and fucky and wucky and all that stuff. And yeah, at the beginning of these videos, at the beginning of like every like new long battle, I show off like what gear I use for each section, and while showing off the gear I use, it also show off the stats. So while I'm busy rambling about something and not explaining like, you know, how my strategy works here, you should probably just look at my gear setup, you know, my stats, and just kind of go from there. However, I believe that for this specific dungeon, I have not showed off my gear, but don't worry, there's going to come a section in this dungeon where I'm going to switch up my equipment, and while switching out my equipment, you should be able to notice like what sort of gear I'm using and what my stats are, because in the beginning, I have everyone set up a certain way, and then like later on in this level, a new party member is going to get introduced, and I have to pretty much equip every single thing on them immediately. And once like that new party member is introduced, I'm also going to give everyone gas masks, because there's a certain section of this long battle that's just a complete poison room, and I was like, oh man, there's a poison room in this level. Yep, no damaging is impossible. But no, it's still possible if you get gas masks for every single party member. And what the gas masks do is just they don't let you be poisoned. So like, you know, like in the game, like the party members will be complaining like, oh, we have to get out of here so quick, we're gonna get poisoned. And they're literally never gonna get poisoned because they have gas masks, just like the enemies which are trying to poison them. Oh my goodness, I think my game is just lagging out. It's funny that I said my game is lagging out when I'm not playing the game right now. Yeah, this is footage of me playing the game, but this is already like a video. It's already recorded. It's just Premiere like lagging out. This is 4K footage, and it's kind of making Premiere run a little funny, and I'm kind of starting to understand why people don't upload videos in 4K. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to like look at the other like Mecha Dragon 8 no damages, like the ones that are like really HD, like I don't know, videos from like Devil Leon 7 or Switch Screen. They don't be uploading the videos in 4K, even though I'm pretty sure they have machines that could run 4K. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure I'm not getting the best performance at 4K. Like, yeah, it is running 60 FPS, but it is slowing down a little bit. And also, recording 4K footage takes up a fuck ton of memory. That is true. Thankfully, I have a lot of, like, portable hard drives, which, you know, kind of alleviate the issue, but it is still a lot of memory. I don't think it's, like, fully sustainable. So I think like a lot of YouTubers, in order to get the best performance out of the game while still getting top-notch visuals, they just stick with 1440p. And at a certain point, can you really tell the difference? I mean, a lot of these people are just watching these videos on their fucking telephones. So, you know. And I support that, because I also watch my own videos on my telephone. I mean, my telephone has like a pretty big screen, but not the biggest one. I mean, I got an iPhone here. I don't really have the new one, but honestly, I'm kind of in need of an upgrade. Not because like I want the new iPhone, I just want more space. This thing's only like 64 gigabytes. It is not enough. I take too many photos, and I'm going to be taking a lot more photos at Anime Expo. Oh yeah, I'm going to Anime Expo, the one that's happening this weekend right now. I mean, I'm planning on uploading this video Saturday, and during Saturday, I'm going to be inside the building. So, you know, like, you may spot me, or you may spot me by accident, or you may spot me in a way where you don't recognize me. Ooh, ah. The mystique, the man who erased his aura, or however that goes. But back to building the PC. So yeah, Chitose gets introduced here. And I think at this point in time, you can't really switch your inventory. You have to wait to, like, finish this little battle here. But thankfully, she's, like, so high level at this point that she still deals decent damage when it's her turn. Like, that's one of the biggest issues with, like, New Game Plus, is that whenever new party members get introduced, like, they kind of get introduced in a way where they enter a battle before you get to access their gear. This happens with Tomizawa, like, in Chapter 3. He gets introduced like the little Yamai, like, ambush at, like, the house which Akane used to live in. And he gets, like, the shittiest, like, wrench possible. So he just deals, like, fuck all damage. And then for Chitose here, yeah, you have to do this little fight before you actually get to, like, equip her with anything cool. And then you have your actual really, really good weapons. And another thing is, I used the wrong save file for this, like, little dungeon replay. Yes, this is on New Game Plus. I've put so many hours into Yakuza 8 here. And once I make, like, the Roblox version of this video, I'm going to put in more hours. But a little oopsie I did, which won't really matter until, like, the final, like, the finale long battles, you know, like, the last 2 levels of the game. But, like, every single other long battle I do before I reach that point, I use the wrong save file. I use the save file where I'm not fully upgraded. And the reason I did that is because that save file is the one where I still have, like, the electric Tomizawa, like, wrench. But in the save file where, like, every single party member is, like, almost fully, like, upgrading, like, level 99, most jobs, like, mostly fully upgraded, I sold Tomizawa's, like, wrench to, like, you know, for materials to fully upgrade another weapon. I just kind of kept doing that over and over. But again, I didn't want to do this section without Tomizawa's, like, electric wrench. But then, like, after this section, I just kind of kept doing the long battles over and over and over again. But then I kind of reached the point where I'm like, hold up. These, like, finale levels, you know, like Ichiban's final, like, long battle, Kiryu's final long battle, I really need these guys to be fully upgraded. So I replayed the entire game again, and I just kind of ran through it in, like, 2 days, and then I spent the rest of the days, you know, trying to no damage those final 2 levels, which Oh man, Ichiban's like, I mean, I guess we'll get there when we get there. And yeah, the lasers, gotta watch out for the lasers. And during these like dungeon like walkthroughs or no damages, I'm trying to do it in first person like a lot of the time just to be cool. I hope running around in first person is as cool to me as it is to you. And there I collected the safe key because a very nasty thing happens when you try to like crawl out of there. Like you'll just run into there and then you'll press the button to run out. And then you just pick up the key while running out. That can mess you up if you're not expecting it. So I just pick up the key before I start running out again so that when I press the running button, I don't get interrupted. It's just a very nasty little move there. Just doing a little bit of variety here. Yes, the hammer is a better move than this, but, I mean, repeating the hammer here gets a little bit redundant, so we're doing sweeping. The redundancies will happen later in the final levels where I really need to, like, you know, go balls to the wall before any enemy can attack me and use my best moves, actually. But for these, like, lower level enemies, I can get a little bit more creative, a little more experimental. Like, yeah, my video just, like, froze here. Like, I mean, I'm not seeing any movement, so I don't know if my audio is, like, registering. Oh, my audio is registering, but I've had, like, previous no damage commentary videos where, like, if I see the video freeze, like, you know, on my timeline in Premiere, my audio just starts glitching out and makes a really funny noise. I forgot specifically what no damage video that happened in, but, like, it was very disturbing. But, yeah, at least it's not happening here. So, anyways, back to building the PC. So, the memory piece I bought is a Corsair Vengeance 16GB, 2x8GB, DDR5/5200 CL40 memory. As for storage, we have the Samsung 970 EVO Plus 1TB M.2/2280 PCIe 3.0 X4 NVMe solid state drive. Boom. As for the video card, I mean, I went balls to the wall because I really wanted the best performance for my buck. The Gigabyte WindForce OC GeForce RTX 4070 Super 12GB video card. I want it to be like safe to actually like play modern games and not have them run like ass, or I have to like lower their graphics to like an insane degree on my Steam Deck. As for the case, I got the Corsair 4000D Airflow ATX mid-tower case. And for the power supply, this is the final piece, aside from the monitor, is a Corsair RM850E, like in parentheses, 2023 850 W80 Plus Gold Certified Fully Modular ATX power supply. So like my friend just went on the PC part picker, like I asked what would be a good PC build for like 4K 60 FPS, and he's like, this will pretty much safeguard you for like the next 3 to 4 years. And here we are. Hopefully this setup does like, you know, safeguard me for the next 3 to 4 years. And it's funny I'm saying my setup because I'm actually nowhere near my setup at the moment because I am currently in LA for Anime Expo. Why am I going to Anime Expo? Because this Saturday, which is when I hope I upload this video if I do finish the commentary on today, Friday, they're doing a little Yakuza event like late at night, and I just had to go because I believe the voice actor of Nishiki and Ichiban will be there. One of the main producers of the series will also be there. And I've just heard reports online that Kurola, like the voice actor of Kiryu, is also in LA. Whether he's going to the event specifically, I don't know. But apparently he's been spotted in LA. I didn't do too much research on that, but like he's in town. Like I mean, I'm very glad I actually made the commitment to go here. I was actually considering not coming here because I think like the event is called like the Like a Dragon Experience, or like Essence of Like a Dragon Experience. It was something like that. And they sold their tickets in a really weird way. Basically, like you need like a Saturday Anime Expo ticket. And yeah, we're going to be doing this at the little cosplay event here. We're going to do like a little dance event. This is just me at Anime Expo doing like a funny little dance with the Anime Expo dancers. Except, I'm not going to do that though. I'm not going to get violent. I do not want to be a nuisance to the guys setting up those events like Ichiban is being here. But yeah, no, it was really weird. So first, you need a normal Anime Expo like Saturday ticket because the event's on Saturday, and you need to be over 21 because it'll be a late night event, and I guess, you know, late night stuff, alcohol, mahjong, you know, the works. And you also need another ticket for that event specifically. So like the Anime Expo like ticket will be slightly expensive, you know, like $80, $90 give or take for Saturday. And then you have the ticket for the Yakuza event specifically, which is $20. However, they sold the Yakuza ticket event on a different website from the Anime Expo like website, and every time I tried to open the website which was selling the Yakuza event ticket, like my browser would get blocked. It would not let me do anything. And like people were like, "Oh, the fix is that you have to like go to like Instagram's mobile browser and open it there." Like I don't know, like the guy who like writes all the walkthrough guides for like the Yakuza series, I forgot how to say his name. It starts with a C, like CryZX Like, if you've looked up, like, I don't know, Yakuza 5 walkthrough, you know, where to find weapons, you will have found one of his walkthroughs. They're excellent. They're fantastic. They help out a ton. But he was the guy who said that you need to use Instagram's mobile browser to access the tickets. I did that, and my browser still got blocked on Instagram mobile. So I was just, like, screwed. But thankfully, I was able to acquire a ticket. Someone helped me out there, a Yakuza fan. But now I'm here, and I'm very glad to be here. Hopefully the event turns out well. As for the strategy in this fight, you have to be level 99, and these guys have to be not level 99. You just destroy them like that. Boom, bam, pow. But yeah, no, I actually made the commitment to come out here, but I'm nowhere near my setup. I'm recording this on my laptop. I mean, I've done all my editing on my laptop. I have not downloaded like Adobe Premiere on my actual PC setup yet, but I really should. I really should be using that extra horsepower. But here's where things get a little bit silly. Where it gets silly is that like my monitor is like super underpowered for like the beast I just bought. I bought a monitor that can only do 4K 60 FPS. When really, like, the beast I just bought can, like, do a way, way higher frame rate. But, I mean, I can't really upload stuff to YouTube that's, like, higher than 60 FPS. So I was just kind of stuck with 60 FPS. But, like, in the future, should I buy, like, you know, like, maybe a 1440p monitor with a higher frame rate? Because I don't really need the 4K for higher frame rates. Since I'm not really going to be recording videos in that higher frame rate, because I'm not going to be uploading them. I mean, YouTube can only do 60 FPS. I want to see, like, the jump to 60 FPS on YouTube was one of the most insane leaps ever, because like every single YouTube video at a certain point was only like 30 FPS or so, and then randomly YouTube was like, yeah, we're gonna update to 60 FPS now. Like, it was actually mind-blowing. It was like just insane. Like, gameplay just looks so much smoother now. So yeah, that was one of the crowds you could skip back there, like before we got sent in the poison elevator, but then like Chitose changed her mind and became goated. Yeah, I'm not talking too much strategy, but one thing I should mention about it is, why is Ichiban's health so low? It's because I'm taking deliberate advantage of an ability that Ichiban specific like equipment has. Like, I don't know when you get this equipment, but there's an equipment for Ichiban specifically. That's like Ichiban's like hero armor or something. Anyways, that's a poison room. That's why you need to equip gas mask at a certain point, you know, just to avoid damage, avoid poison. But yeah, no, Ichiban's like true hero armor, pretty much like if you're on low health, every single time like it's your turn, you'll just get a stat boost. So, you know, just an easy way to just be more powerful, deal more damage. And I think this might be the only time I do it. I may do it in the next level, maybe. But then there comes a certain point where I just never do it again, even though it would be useful. But I just kind of go for different strategies, or I just find ways to do, you know, do without it. But it is really useful. Honestly, if I do the boss fights again, I think I will be taking advantage of that again. Just because, you know, get Ichiban's attack like immediately like to the top, you know, it'll save me like having to summon so many times. But yeah, that's why you have like the red overlay there. And speaking of overlays, you'll see that there is no minimap. I deliberately turned it off just because I thought it would be more stylish to do these like dungeon no damages, me like running straight through them as fast as possible without a minimap. And just like this is just kind of true of a lot of games. Turning off the minimap just kind of makes them more fun. I mean, at a certain point, I kind of prefer just pressing a button to open up the map just to see where the objective is, instead of always having it in the left corner of my screen or the right corner of my screen. You know, like I only want to open the map if I truly get lost somewhere, right? And none of these levels are that complicated, so you're not going to have that problem. But while experiment, I don't have like my UI fully turned off, all right? Because you could fully turn off your UI. That's not what I did. So yeah. So because I want Ichiban to stay at that really low health, instead of using the healing machines, I just drink a bunch of coffee before like entering this level in order to get more magic, instead of using the healing machine, which will like fully heal up your health bar and your magic. But I only want like my magic to be healed up for Ichiban, so that's what we're just gonna do. We're just gonna guzzle a bunch of different coffees, boom, 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 just get that caffeine boost ready to fight Danny Trejo, Dwight Mendez. And yes, we are fighting him in the Japanese dub, so Danny Trejo does not voice him at all. And in the dub, he does voice him, but like his mocap work, like sometimes isn't even done by him. It's done by the guy who's like the English voice actor of Luke in Street Fighter 6. And he's also a voice actor in this game. He voices like Ebi. I mean, not Ebi but like, oh, it's like Edgy. He voices like Edgy. I'm saying his name completely wrong, but yeah. He does voice him. So anyways, here Dwight can do a move where he makes you really, really scared. So I'm just equipping an item to avoid that. Except I only have 3 of them. So Tomizawa, like, you know, if that move lands on him, he's just going to have to take it and be really, really scared. So I think I'm actually just deciding what item to give him instead of the item which allows him to not get scared. And, you know, out of these 4 protagonists, I feel like he would be the one who gets scared the most. So yeah, we're just going to give him the most power. Just why not? Why not? But yeah, no, like, I have, like, partial UI displayed, which turns off the minimap when you're exploring around, but while you're in combat, or if you need to, like, open a door, like, stuff will still show up. Because I feel like turning off the UI completely, it just kind of comes to a certain point where I don't even know what I'm doing, you know? But what I found out is that once you reach like the Dondoko island section, the mini-map just straight up, you can't turn it off. It's always going to be there. I just found that kind of annoying because I kind of wanted to explore like Dondokoto Island. I'm putting like a couple too many syllables there. Hey, I'm just gonna summon like Chitose Buster Holmes here just because, you know, this fight isn't too hard. And she actually can stun people every now and then, so that's kind of fun. But not really a summon that's that useful. And also doing these sort of summons like takes away one of the most useful ability of summons in this game, where you can do a summon and then Ichiban can do another attack. But if you do this, it takes away your turn and Ichiban like doesn't get to do an extra attack, so at some point, you kind of have to ask, like, yo, what's the point? But yeah, no. The enemies might get stunned, but Dwight here was not going to get stunned. Instead, we're going to use Puppy Playtime because Dwight is just susceptible to fear, which is really, really... Honestly, there's certain boss fights I was not expecting to be susceptible to fear. There's one later on in this game where, like, I was actually super, super surprised he's susceptible to fear. We're going to just see that play out when we get to that point. But yeah, Dwight, we can take advantage of the fact that he gets scared. He's like a little scaredy pants. He, like, goes wee-wee in his pants. He literally goes wee-wee in his pants in this game, so he is susceptible to fear. And the dogs, they're going to make him go wee-wee super hard. Anyways, so back to talking about the PC. So the same friend who let me borrow their PS3 and basically like own the PS3 now and allowed me to play the Metal Gear Solid and the Yakuza games is the same friend who pretty much like built the PC for me. Like, he helped me out, but he was basically doing everything because I had no idea how to build that thing. Like, he had some experience having some beastly setups himself, but yeah, no, like, there was one friend who pretty much, like, told me all the parts to get a beastly PC, and the second friend is the one who let me borrow their PS3 and then just kind of have the PS3 because nobody else was using it, and then, like, help me build the PC here. So we pretty much have, like, the second friend, my homie, best homie, to pretty much get me into Yakuza, because if he did not do that, I don't know if I would have played Yakuza in the same way I have, like, in this timeline right now. And has Yakuza ever tackled, like, multiple timelines? I mean, I don't think it's done anything like that, but what it has tackled is stuff like just going into the past with Kenzan and Ishin, which these modern games kind of, like, get a little quirky with it, you know, trying to imply that, like, Kiryu might be, like, an ancestor of, like, Musashi, or, like, Sakamoto Ryoma, like, some far-off ancestor, or that they're, like, dreams Kiryu had, like, in his subconscious, like, some silly stuff like that. Like, anytime, like, Kenzan or Ishin gets, like, mentioned in this series, it's really funny given the fact that Kenzan is still not in English, but, like, the games still reference it, you know? Like, there's, like, certain items that have, like, descriptions which, you know, reference Kenzan. I mean, this game, I mean, Dead Souls references Kenzan, so, you know, it's just very funny. It's just very funny to see. There was another thing I wanted to mention. Oh, yeah. With partial display, like, activated with the UI, using the in-game radio makes no sense. Because pretty much, like, if you have all of the UI enabled, you, like, hold down the L1 button, and you'll see, like, the little thing, like, loading up in, like, the bottom left corner of the screen. And, like, a new menu will pop up. You get to see all the songs to choose. That's just not there if you choose partial display. Just, like, you know, you still hold down L1 and you press all the same buttons to make it happen. It's just that if you have no idea how that works, you're going to have a tough time navigating it. You're just going to be, like, hitting away at nothing, which I guess is, like, kind of similar to, like, using an iPod Shuffle. So it's just like real life. So we're doing this big fire move here. It's not going to kill him, but it is going to deal a ton of damage. As for how many times he's going to get afraid, I think it's only once. Like, you know, he'll be like, he'll stagger once, he'll be like, oh, I'm so scared, ah! Oh, and my screen froze again. Yeah, no, my MacBook here, it keeps freezing like every 8 to 9 minutes, and I'm trying to yap for a really long time, so that's very inconvenient. I mean, like, I feel like if I keep yapping through the freeze, eventually it'll unfreeze, but, like, while it's frozen, like, the footage is still happening, and, like, my audio is still going through it. Like, at no point when I say that the, you know, the screen froze, does it ever, like, actually freeze for the viewer here in this recording. My, you know, my audio still matches everything that's being set, like, my voice is still matching all of the visuals really well. Except I'm not seeing what the new visuals are, so, you know, it kind of, like, interrupts me. But anyways, I just ran out of stuff to talk about on my outline, so I'm actually very worried. Because, like, the next other things I have on my outline are specifically about, like, the finale of this video, which is basically the last 50 minutes. So until we get to that point, I have to talk about other things along the way. Check out these brand new outfits we get, which were only unlocked recently because, like, Sega did, like, a partnership. And yeah, the reason there was a weird cut there is because, like, the recording I have of me going straight into this level, I did not check my gear beforehand, so I just loaded another save, checked the gear there, because that gear is the exact same gear I use in this level. And yeah, technically this really isn't a long battle, but I wanted to include it because it's such a cool setting. Like, you know, you got this, like, weird, like, fetishized, like, Americana little bar, casino place going on. This boss fight is dope as hell. Like, check out this, this is the coolest dynamic intro in the game. So yeah, no, the section I'm including here as a mini long battle of sorts is pretty much like, you know, this boss fight, the fights which happen afterwards, the boss fight which happens at the beginning of Chapter 7, that's a little long battle portion I'm including here, and it's also my excuse to do this battle again, but in 4K, but yeah, this, like, Sega partnered with, like, this t-shirt company, this shirt company, I don't know what they're called, but they just made these little graphics, and now the cast can wear them. And they're very basic little outfits there, just boom, you got the little sprites there, it's a solid colored shirt, and that's your lot. But yeah, now that I have a 4K PC, I can actually criticize the graphics and, like, not be tripping. Because, like, if I criticize the graphics of, like, Yakuza 8 on the Steam Deck, I would kind of be tripping because I have to, like, you know, make the graphics, like, more PS2 in order to run that game better. And, like, this game looks really pretty. It's just that there's certain, like, dynamic intro or, like, dynamic sequence animations that look a little bit off. And yeah, right now I am using, like, the little surfer class with Ichiban just because, like, the dolphin dive move is, like, the most useful move in the game. Like, there's very few situations where that move isn't, like, super duper useful. Like, even with enemies that, like, are resistant to, like, water or aren't weak to it, if you just keep using that move over and over, you create weaknesses to that water thing specifically. So you can just steamroll boss fights that way. And, you know, like, the main thing I remember about, like, Wanto here is that once you reach his second phase, he'll always do a move where, like, he'll, like, you know, do a healing move instead of an attack move, and you can take advantage of that. So I think, like, the main thing we're trying to do here is get him, like, down his health bar to, like, the second phase so that he doesn't do any attacks, because his attack, he can do some really gnarly attacks. Like, and my screen froze again. I'm just gonna keep talking and just hope for the best. Maybe, like, it unfreezes while I continue talking. But, like, if it continues like this for the next 20 or 30 minutes, like, no, not that much. Like, 20 or 30 seconds. Oh, it's already back to normal-ish, but it's just very slow at the moment. And little gun animation there is done. Oh. Actually, no, he's even easier than the way I was describing. He has to do this move where, like, he raises his agility first before anything else. So, like, not even a second phase thing, like, just straight up a first phase thing. He has to, like, do that move before he does any attacks. So I did not reach the second phase there, but he didn't do that move yet, so I can just do that. Anyways, just look at this little thing. So, you know, I really wish there was a level in this section, but I guess it would be kind of redundant because, like, this little area is a fancy hotel. And we already had an entire long battle where we sneaked into a fancy hotel, so just doing another fancy hotel might have been a little bit redundant, but it just feels kind of empty. Well, I mean, this boss fight's awesome. I wouldn't say it feels empty. And, like, the boss fights after this and, like, the little scenarios are also really awesome, especially the Yamai scenario in the forest. But, like, I don't know. I feel like in order to build this guy up, another level would have been kind of cute or neat. You know, and also, like, maybe with, like, the new Americana setting, just taking more advantage of that. But that does kind of, like, come and go very quickly. Like, you know, it is related to, like, you know, some of the themes, some of the topics they're tackling in Hawaii with tourism and all that. And yada this, yada that, but it just kind of comes and goes. Same thing with this character. He just kind of comes and goes. Very quickly, too. Same thing with his son. He just kind of comes, goes, and then we, like, remember him at the very end. Oh, yeah, we gotta, like, bring him back. And then he comes, and he goes again. So, yippity-yappity, youpity-youpida. But to get back to the levels of this game, Dwight's dungeon is arguably the best dungeon or long battle in the whole game. It's like the most elaborate one. It has like the most little scenarios, gimmicks, and whatnot. And like just the dungeons in general in like Yakuza 7 and 8 they're not great. They're just like too simple for their own good. Like they're all reliant on combat. So basically, Yakuza 8's dungeons are better than 7 dungeons just because like the combat's a lot more fun in this game. The freezing of my screen is not that fun though. I gotta praise this move, Court Maintenance, though, because like very rarely will an enemy actually dodge it. So if you're dealing with an enemy that's like always dodging your attacks, like I mean, you can just use Court Maintenance and like they won't dodge the attack because like the way it works is they'll like dodge the first hit of it, and then like when she actually picks up the entire thing and slams it down, very rarely will they actually dodge that. Mind you, it's not impossible. An enemy actually did dodge it like one time when I was like playing around with this game, but for the most part they don't dodge it. Like, you know, you'll be, spoiler alerts, chapter 12 of this specific game. I mean, if you're watching this video, I feel like you've already beaten everything in this game. So yeah, chapter 12, Majima, when he gets like his boost, his agility boost, and he becomes super, or his evasion, agility, whatever it is, like his super big boost that makes him dodge all the time, you can just do Court Maintenance on him and it'll hit him and it'll get rid of that like agility evasion boost. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Like the tennis class just has a lot of really great stuff in it. So it's a shame that it's DLC. And yes, I have access to it because I bought the deluxe edition of this game because I might as well. But yeah, no, it does suck that you have to like buy a deluxe edition of this game in order to get like a class like the tennis class. It's like baiting you. It's like, yeah, if you pay money, you'll get a better class. And the same thing happened in 7. They like locked this one class which has an amazing gun move, which deals like the most damage out of anything else in the game. And they just locked it behind DLC. So I was like, what the fuck? Why would you do this to me? But I think someone gifted me the DLC for Yakuza 7 specifically, so that's how I had that class. And then like the other DLC class is like the football class for like the dudes, but like that class I don't even use it that much. Like, I mean, maybe there's like a couple moves that are kind of useful, but like it's nowhere near as like versatile as a tennis class. Like the tennis class just has a lot of really fun moves, a lot of like really aggressive like battering and arsenals. And I'm just gonna skip saving because boom, straight to chapter 7 for the Yamai fight. Just like this one take little thing. Then Kiryu's gonna like get. He's gonna start coughing of cancer. He's gonna like be kind of weak after this fight because he gets kidnapped. My guy gets kidnapped. Holy shit, he gets kidnapped. And yeah, Tomizawa's just gonna be driving a car until we get to this point. I really love that little like emblem, the little scary little smile emblem there that pops up there. So yeah, we're just gonna destroy Yamai here. It's actually a little bit unfair how much I destroy him. You know, I just go for like a summon that like eliminates his entire crowd. I spam the water move like. It's actually just kind of sad how quickly he goes down. But for Yamai, you can paralyze him. Once again, with a lot of the status ailment like strategies in this game, they tend to be pretty inconsistent. Like, I don't know, I mean, like, there's just certain boss fights where, you know, maybe it'll take like one stun move to like paralyze them, or it'll take like 9. Like, it gets very, very annoying. But for here, I'm just making sure to absolutely demolish this guy. Substitution jutsus, you know, gotta do what I gotta do. But yeah, no, just the dungeons in general, like, I mean, I just don't know if this game is ever, if the series is, like, if it's going to continue being turn-based, if they're ever going to make better dungeons, because, like, Yakuza's just kind of stuck in the middle here. They don't want to be too hardcore. Like, they are casual enough to a point, so, like, they're never going to do, like, SMT dungeons, you know, they're never going to get, like, that complex or whatever. But, like, we really need something more here. Like, the Dwight dungeon was, like, a good step in the right direction. I did like that. The kind of the variances, like the little gimmicks with the lasers, like it doesn't like slow the pace down too much. There was like one dungeon in 7 where like some of the gimmicks like kind of slowed down the pace quite a bit. Like the Jinguan, they're not called the Jinguan in that game. They're like the Korean Mafia in 7. There's like one section where like they copy like the little detective thing from like Judgment, which was kind of neat to see. I kind of like when assets of the previous games get used in that manner, but like that little gimmick did take quite a bit. Kind of killed the pacing of that level, but that level does have really cool environmental design. So like, while gameplay-wise, these levels do tend to be slightly underwhelming, the environmental design says a lot. This theater says a lot. I mean, like, it's so decrepit and old. It's got a great vibe to it, but like, all you do is just fight enemies, and then you get to a room, you have to find a key, so you just kind of enter like separate rooms, and if you already know where the key is, you can just kind of skip straight to the room that has a key, get it, and then boom, you just go to the boss fight, and like, that's it, that's your lot. Though in this specific video, I don't do it because there's a really funny gag in like one of the rooms, which I do want to do, and I just kind of end up doing all the rooms anyways, because like, while we're here, we might as well just do that. And I just wasn't trying to like rush it. I was just taking my time, being somewhat slow, but not slow enough where this level becomes 30 minutes long. Like, Like on my first playthrough, like, I think that Dwight level took me like an hour or two. And to be fair, I was watching all the cutscenes. I feel like this game isn't that long, but like if you watch all the cutscenes, it becomes a lot longer because, you know, I mean, this is also true of Yakuza 7, like especially in chapters 1 and 2. Like they kind of, it reminds me a lot of like Persona 3 and 4 because like Persona 3 and 4, like their first 3 to 4 chapters have like no gameplay. It's all story. And Yakuza 7 took a very similar approach. Like it's like for the first 3 hours or so, it's like all story. It's all like, you know, you're in the game to learn like the story and interact and all that. You don't get access to like the gameplay until like you're in Yokohama and all that. So, you know, it's very like heavy dump of story at the very beginning, like much heavier dump than like most other Yakuza games, though don't be mistaken, Yakuza 0 gives it a good swing. Yakuza 0 gives it a good fucking swing. Oh, that, what am I saying? Wait, let me get my words in order here. So like Yakuza 0 has a really long fucking chapter 1, but Judgment. Okay, the thing is, like, there is gameplay in the first chapter of Judgment. It's just that, like, there's certain huge sections in that first chapter that are just stealth. And that's like, one of my biggest issues with the first Judgment is that the tailing missions are so boring. They're actually a slog to go through. Like, the stealth is so bare bones that it's just, like, it's a waiting game. You just kind of keep waiting and waiting. It's like, yeah. It's not fun. And, like, there's so many of them in Judgment, it kills the pacing. Just Judgment has, like, a pacing issue. It's not just, like, the tailing missions. Like, the insertion of, like, side content, like forced side missions or something, you know, where it's like, oh, go help that kid with like his, you know, Ultraman obsession. They call it like Captain Cop in that game. Or go fight Kaito's like, you know, asshole like college friend. And it's just like those sections like just interrupt the story so much. Like previous Yakuza games have had stuff like that before. But honestly, when I'm talking about previous Yakuza games, I'm talking about like Yakuza 1, you know, because like they'll have like a little side tangent where, you know, you go help out Kage's son. Or, you know, help out Date's daughter, but that first Yakuza game has, like, the privilege of, like, they actually had, like, fully animated cutscenes because they could just do that back then. While in Judgment, they're just doing, like, the sub-story presentation. It's not as engaging, and I just think, like, the pacing cuts are worse in the Judgment anyways. So, that's my little Judgment rant. Not sure where I was going with that. But yeah, no, these games have really long intros with the cutscenes, and, like, if I were to, like, continue my playthrough of Yakuza 7 again, because I am currently doing a thing where I'm replaying every single Yakuza game on stream just to re-rank every single game in the franchise so far. I've replayed Yakuza 1, 2, Kenzan 3, 4, and Dead Souls on stream. And I haven't streamed in a while because my Wi-Fi died because a thunderstorm actually destroyed all my routers. Like, it's insane. It was like an incredibly cracked thunderstorm, and my routers could not no-damage it. The thunder no-damaged the routers, all things considered. But yeah, no, I'm no expert on dungeon design, but it's just kind of like, they kind of have to copy what they did with the previous, like, you know, beat-em-up Yakuza games. And, like, with the previous beat-em-up Yakuza games, like, the way those levels worked is, it's just a straight line of enemies, you know? Like, very rarely do they ever, like, experiment too much with that, you know? You go into a room, you beat up a bunch of enemies. You go into another room, you beat up a bunch of enemies. And they're just basically doing the same thing here, but with turn-based combat. And now that the turn-based combat is more fun, it is more fun to kind of go through these levels and all that, but I really still want more interesting levels because, like, I don't know how we're going to continue having, like, you know, turn-based Yakuza games if the dungeons aren't going to be that interesting. Like, we really need something like with more sauce. And, like, I guess my only real comparison is just, like, some of the harder SMT games, but some of those games get a little too ridiculous with their dungeon designs, where it would be, like, way overboard for Yakuza. Like, Yakuza is not that hardcore. Like, I have to come to terms with the fact that it is a more casual franchise. So, like, they wouldn't want to go, like, that far with exploration or, like, confuse the player that much. And then you have, like, the subterranean, like, sort of dungeons and all that. You know, the grinding dungeons, the Yokohama, like, crack house. That's the name of the combat theme in 7. That is not the name of the dungeon here. The dungeon here is called, like, the Hawaiian Haunt, the Haunted Haunt, the HH, Double H, Mother's Milk Boys. I haven't seen that show yet, but I will hop on that at some point. But yeah, those dungeons just copy, like, the Persona 3 and 4 style of just procedurally generated hallways. And it just gets boring after a while, but you're just kind of there to grind. You're not really there to have fun, are you? But yeah, no, just like all the details in the theater are really dope. It says a lot about the characters. Like, this chapter just really, like, brings Yamai to life. And mind you, Yamai was a fantastic character beforehand. But just like the way it all kind of comes to a head here is, like, really great. And Yamai is just a huge highlight of this game. And yeah, he does take up a bunch of screen time, but you know what? Given the fact that he's probably the best character in the game for me, I'm fine with him taking up that much screen time. Nope. I mean, let's not get like too hasty on this like game's like cast of characters. Tomizawa's like a really great companion, a really great friend. Chitose is like a little all over the place. Honestly, there's not really Chitose that like I have a problem with. It's just more like the way some of her plot points develop and all that. Just like, man, the way the whole security company stuff pays off, and like from Yakuza 7, the whole thing that Majima and Daigo and Saejima were gonna start up, like the way that pays off in this game is like the most disappointing shit ever. Like, why did they do that? Like, it's just like, oh yeah, they just built that up for nothing. It just all goes to shit immediately. It's like, you know, it's not status quo, but it feels like it's still like enforcing a status quo, even though like they've never been that fucked. But like since they got that fucked, they can like there won't be any interesting developments with the security company. So it's kind of like, what are we doing here? I mean, this game's story, like, I mean, on this replay, I wasn't really judging it too much because this is such a cool move. Given the fact that I only really like to do like the high damage moves, there's a lot of moves with like a ton of really fantastic animations that I just never do. And that's one of them because, you know, like, why would you do that move when you have moves that are better than that? But it's really cool, like, it's really well animated. So for like a more stylish no damage, you know, you're just gonna have to do moves that deal less damage. You just kind of plan around that. But, you know, like on the normal playthrough, you're not really gonna be doing those moves too much. I mean, on a normal playthrough, you're not really going to be using the other classes all that much because the main classes are just so goated and like awesome and are just the most interesting. I mean, I guess that's kind of a problem. I mean, I guess it is a problem if you want the player to use multiple classes because like the main classes you start off with are like just easily the best ones. Tomizawa's like, you know, Kabi like class is the best one. The hero class is the most interesting one. Kiryu's is way overpowered. There's like no reason to use anything but the Dragon of Dojima unless you want to like upgrade stats and all that. But once you have the Dragon of Dojima fully upgraded and you're not trying to do no damage, you're just trying to play the game normally, you don't need to mess around with like, you know, fully maxing out stats. But since there it is. That's a cute level gag. That was just a funny little thing to insert into the level, gives it personality. Just like this whole section gives the Yamai Syndicate a lot of personality. But I really want these games to have like more personality in like their game structure. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the most complex like these levels are ever gonna get is like Persona 5, and that game's not even that complex. It feels like a huge simplification of like some of the SMT stuff, you know, like let's do like slightly non-linear. Like, I mean, what I like about the Persona 5 dungeons is that they're actually like designed. Like, I don't like the Persona 3 and 4 dungeons where it's just randomly generated hallways and you go there, you fight any enemies that show up there. I don't like that structure. I'm a much bigger fan of like the Persona 5 structure where, like, you know, it's like everything's like designed. It's like an actual like level structure there. Even if a lot of like the puzzles are very simplistic and just don't really amount to much, but at least it just kind of gives me like a feeling of, wow, this is like an actual new area. It's not just like visuals. It's not just another fucking hallway I have to crawl through. It just got very annoying after like 70 to 80 hours in like Persona 3 and 4. Like, I think the games become progressively more fun to play from Persona 3 to 5. Like Persona 3, like, I mean, 60 hours in, I did not want to play that game anymore, but I kept going because, you know, I liked the game. I liked like its little story, its developments and all that. I was engaged, but like, wow, the grinding in the tower, like after 60 hours, I was fucking done. I was out of it. I was like clocked out. And then for like Persona 4 Golden, it took me like 70 to 80 hours to reach that point. So, you know, that's an improvement. And then for Persona 5, I never really reached that point, but like I think in like the final dungeon, it got a little bit boring. Because like that final dungeon is just like a little bit boring compared to everything else like you've done. Because every other level has like this really fun theme. And then you get to like the actual final thing. And I mean, I don't want to spoil it or anything, but yeah, no, it's just kind of boring. And mind you, I played the original Persona 5. I haven't played Royale, which I know adds another dungeon and kind of does a new little thingy. And has like new thematics and themes. And it seems like people, for the most part, agree that it's an improvement. But some people don't agree. I'll have to play that myself, but I actually have a hard time going back to Persona after I've beaten it like once because it's such a time commitment. Persona 3 took me like a month to beat. Persona 4 took me a month to beat. Persona 5 took me a month to beat. So if I jump on that again, yeah, take a wild guess how long that's gonna take me to beat. But I do want to hop on Royale one of these. I also got to hop on like the original games, like Persona 1, Persona 2. But the game I'm honestly more interested in trying out is just SMT Nocturne. Because, I mean, I got like 5 hours into that game. I reached the skeleton guy. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna, go back. I'm gonna beat the skeleton guy. It's gonna be awesome. And I never returned to the game again. And I lost a save file, which had me at the skeleton guy. So I'm gonna have to replay the game entirely from the beginning. I kind of want to get a copy. Check out this dynamic intro. Just the fact that Yamai hangs out with women his age is like just one of my favorite details about him. But details, it's not a detail, it's just right there. It just is. Because, you got like Ichiban, like just hanging out with like, 20-year-old like supermodels and all that. That's like his romantic interest. Then you got like this guy who just hangs out with women his age. And, I mean, the game doesn't treat it like a villainous thing or anything. I mean, like, yeah, he is like the anti-hero, so he's like the anti-Ichiban, Ichiban hangs out with like 24-year-old like 24-year-olds. What the fuck am I saying? Yeah, 24-year-old like supermodels. Like Yamai hangs out with women who are the same age as him. But I like the party chats and like Yakuza 7 and 8 are really great. I think they work slightly better in 7. Well, 7 just has the whole theme of friendship and camaraderie just comes across a lot stronger in 7. Just because like I think that story was more focused on that. But 8's party chats and like just party dynamic is still really fantastic. Like, I just love, like, Adachi's comments where he's like, damn, I would love a woman like that. Because he's, like, the senior citizen of, like, the group. I just love that he's just, like, he's chilling. He's just spitting that stuff there. Like, yeah, no, just, like, this fight. Like, the theme you get to hear here, like, the Kuki theme, kicks ass. This arena, kicks ass. And, yeah, I had to do this whole thing in, like, one go. It wasn't too hard, but there were a couple things I had to watch out for. Like, just, like, the way Yamai works in this fight is very, very strange. And I think I got like really lucky that when you paralyze Yamai here, he gets stunned for 2 turns, not 1. But that could be a little bit inconsistent. I don't know. And also, there's just certain situations where like an enemy will be paralyzed and they'll still move. I mean, I've already yapped about that before, and I will be yapping about that again later on in this video. But for now, thankfully, he is paralyzed, and we got rid of most of the enemies. I got to do a cool little cowboy move. We got Adachi as a samurai, and just the funniest thing about Adachi is that, that move is super useful too. Just like, this deals like insane damage. Like, you would expect this not to deal as much damage as it does, but this can really save you in a pinch, and for some reason, I'm just avoiding Yamai, because like, I think I'm really, really trying not to trigger like a 2nd or 3rd phase, because like, this guy has like a weird thing where if you enter a new phase, you can like do an attack before your turn. It was a very weird thing, a very weird setup. You have to like defeat this guy in a very specific fashion or you'll get screwed up. And I don't know what I'm trying to do here with like increasing my attack. Oh, I'm increasing my attack so that the dolphin move deals more damage. So I can kind of like deal with that and all. Another thing I wanted to mention... And I forgot what I was going to mention. So yeah, I'll get back to the RPGs, JRPGs of other games. I know that some people want to call me a casual because like my main comparisons for like JRPG gameplay is just Persona. And I am kind of a casual with turn-based RPGs. But I've played other turn-based RPGs that are not Persona, right? I've played Pokemon. Okay, that doesn't help me much. Pokemon is also an incredibly casual RPG. I have not hopped on Pokemon in a while though. Like the last Pokemon game I played was like Pokemon X and I did not beat it, alright? Like the very first Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Black, and it was awesome. And then I got a copy of Platinum, and that was awesome. But the fucked up thing about Platinum is that I lost my copy of Platinum. I don't have it anymore. Now that game costs like $200. It's like stupid expensive. Oh, I'm so sad. I miss my fucking DS copy of Pokemon Platinum so bad. But you know what? If it's any condolence to me, at the very least, those games are like the easiest things to emulate because like everyone wants to play Pokemon. It's like one of the most famous franchises ever. So like, you can pretty much just emulate that on like a fucking calculator. Like, the only game that's like easier to play is Doom. But yeah, no. And another one I played was Bravely Default, which is also on a portable system, the 3DS. And I had a good time with Bravely Default, but like that game took me like 2 years to beat because I was so on and off about it. Like, I played it for like 3 months, dropped it for a bit, and then like 6 months later I would pick it up for like a month or 2, and then I would drop it again, and then I would pick it up like, like half a year later, and then I just kind of went, I was so on and off until the point where I got to the final boss, and you know what? It was worth it. The final boss is an incredible experience. The true final boss. It's one of those tricky games which has fake endings and all that. And yeah, no, but just Bravely Default, really dope combat system. Like the whole concept of being able to do extra moves, but like sacrifice your turns in advance, just like super cool shit. I really love the tactics you have to employ with that system, but it is kind of hard to understand and get a grasp on because you just get destroyed so quickly if you like abuse the system the wrong way. But it's a really dope system, and I really love it quite a bit. And yeah, once again, this is another level which is not a level. It's just straight up this crowd and the boss fight. That's it. That's the entire level. But, I decided to include it. The arena for the boss fight's super cool, and also, I mean, I decided to just kind of include the boss fight which comes afterwards in 4K. Might as well just get back to it, do it again. But just Bravely Default just has this incredibly, like, annoying gimmick second half, which, it's like doing this whole thing. We have to bravely default. It makes more sense if you played the game, but, like, holy shit, there's so much grinding and repetition and, like, repeating of assets. But yeah, how does this apply to Yakuza 7 and 8? It doesn't. I was just going off on a tangent. Oh yeah, I just forgot to mention how much I love that song. It's like, I forgot what it's called. It's like Total Entrapment. Like, it's like Entrapment, Unlimited Entrapment. I don't know, like Impregnable Entrapment. I don't know, but it's a fantastic theme. I think someone mentioned that, like, it sounds like a remix of like 100 Execution from like Kenzin. I can kind of hear it, but yeah, no. It's a really great combat track, and like, I kind of misremembered. I thought that I was like, from nostalgia kind of, I thought that like, the Seiryu Clan theme from like 7 was better, but I went back and like heard it again, and no, it isn't. I prefer this one. This one just has more punch to it, like more kick. There's like a little cheesy drop where he's like, breaking out the rules. I'm breaking out the rules. Like has a little cheesy drop there, but like it works. I like it in this song. It's still awesome. It's just a great theme. I really love it all. And like it does get reused a good amount in this game because, every time you fight the Seiryu Clan, you just end up doing it again. The Tojo Clan long battle, which happens later in this video, they're going to use it again. But you know what? I love the theme so much that I'm just happy it's here. And you know what? Yakuza 1 followed a very similar like philosophy. Like, a lot of the combat themes get reused over and over and over again. But you know what? That original Yakuza 1 score, oh my goodness. Beautiful stuff. Classic score. I just love like I don't know if like those vases of those safes are like green or yellow, but like the mix of blue, green, yellow, like all over this stage, it looks beautiful, man. I love the lighting in this room. And like, just boom, Joe Sawashiro just gets a sick ass like remix of his theme. The only issue with this fight is that it does feel like a bit of a step back from like the Yakuza 7 fight, because he's so much easier to defeat in this game. Like 8 in general is easier than 7, but like in a lot of ways, I just welcome the change, because like 7 just like, the ways it got hard got like boring, like it gets hard in a somewhat boring way where you just have to like spam your best moves and tank whatever gets thrown your way. So like, well, this game it gets boring because like you can like kind of set up your party in a way where you just like absolutely demolish him. And to be fair, if you want to do no damage, you have to pretty much allow him to not do any of his moves. But like some of the moves this guy does are really cool. It's just that if you have a really like well-spec'd party, then it's just that. On my normal playthrough, like I was already doing like a majority of the side quests, like trying to get the best equipment if possible. I was like defeating every single mini boss I saw like across the map. So like once I reached any of the main story boss fights, like, I was just like so over leveled for them. Like the way this game like scales like its difficulty is very different from 7, where I don't know how to describe it, but like in 8, if you're like slightly under leveled, like fighting a boss fight, the boss fight is very hard. But if you're at their same level, they're decently easy. If you're like a level or 2 above them, they're piss easy. I don't know if that applies for like every single fight, but like I just kind of had that experience. Like I just like kind of steamrolled a lot of the fights on my normal playthrough just because like I was fighting all the mini bosses, like. And Yakuza 8 has like so many objectives where you have to like go to like a little point on the map, press a button to like do a little like story thing to like level up a thing. You have like the party chats. You have those specific party chats with specific like party members, and like those are like little like. It's like the Ubisoft, like, feathers, but, with more personality, because you actually get to, like, hear a funny little story with every single one of those drops. And then once you reach Kiryu's section, boom, you have, like, the Dragon's Remembrance stuff. So, I'm just running all over the map, like, hitting up those little points, and, like, it is a little bit tedious, but honestly, I had a fun time doing that. And one of the reasons I have a fun time doing that is because, like, the maps in Yakuza 7 and 8 are just so fantastic. Just one of my favorite things about Yakuza 7 and 8 specifically, just how brand new these games are. Like, I mean, there is no beating Yakuza 7's like sense of newness, because Yakuza 7 it's a brand new combat system, brand new protagonist, brand new cast, and a brand new map that's like twice or 3 times the size of like the original Kamurocho. Look at this! Oh, my audio actually glitched out this time. I was not expecting that to happen. But yeah, that's a funny noise. That's one of the funny noises I was talking about, and it happened to me in one of my previous videos. But yeah, no, like I was saying, just like Yokohama is a fantastic map. It's like, you know, it's huge, but still like really detailed. It's got like a lot of really memorable sections. You kind of got the Chinatown section. You got like the Korea section in the game. And you got like all the little fun things in between, just and like the top of the map with the baseball stadium, like the huge little soccer field, just like so much of it I can kind of remember from memory, just like Kamurocho. It's a fantastic map. It's just a great map to tie to Ichiban, and just every time it comes back, it's a joy to explore. Like, I will say that when it came back in Lost Judgment, it didn't have the same magic as it did in 7, but like, you know, it's still a really fun map to explore, and it is better designed for skateboarding around than Kamurocho, because skateboarding around in Kamurocho was kind of miserable in Lost Judgment, but then you get to like, you know, Yokohama, it's like, fun. Very nice, very nice. And another thing is that one of my favorite things about 7 and 8, and yeah, 8 introduces Hawaii, which is once again a map that's even bigger than 7's. You know, it's like, oh my goodness, it's a really great map. Not sure if it's as memorable as like Yokohama or like as striking, but like still a really great map, completely different vibe. You know, like super huge beaches. You know, like it's a very white game. I don't know if the game has a white filter of some sort to like become whiter, but like in the daytime, it's like blaringly white. But yeah, it's just like one of my favorite things. But another one of my favorite things about Yakuza 7 and 8 that like really brings home like the JRPG vibes is that like your map is like completely blacked out until you explore every inch and corner of the map. I love that. I honestly, I love that. It makes exploring the game like a lot more rewarding. And you know, if you want to like, you know, explore everything early on, you just go into uncharted territory. And on a new game, you actually have to be a little bit careful because in certain areas, the enemies are going to be like way more leveled up than you. It's like, oh, that was so much fun. That stuff like that is like super rewarding. Like, you know, just really brings home the vibe of a turn-based JRPG. It's like the design of like, you know, Yakuza's like side content and just hub world design just goes so well with a turn-based RPG. It's crazy, but they really need to bring the sauce with the main story dungeons. But honestly, just or like give me a more complicated dungeon than like the ones, you know, in the grinding section. Don't give me like those fucking randomly generated hallways. Give me some cooler shit. And the big swell was not it. Honestly, like, we need something, like, in between the difficulty of, like, the final true Millennium Tower in 7 and the big swell, because neither option is the right choice. The true Millennium Tower in, like, Yakuza 7, I mean, at least it gave you, like, a reason to actually fully grind and max out every single character you have, but, like, it just wasn't fun. It was, like, so boring. Honestly, like, the final level in 7, you know, fantastic theme, you know, the story's real engaging and all that, but it's kind of a boring level, man. It just fucking goes on forever and ever. There's no save point. I love this move, though. The spin sweeper. It doesn't deal much damage, but like, just the amount of enemies it captures in, like, in its wake, it's really fun. So yeah, if you're playing this game efficiently, you're never going to do that move, but like, doing that move is just really fun. So I wanted to pop it out, just pull it out for a little bit. But yeah, no. And the thing is, the other, like, our JRPG games I mentioned don't have the best dungeon design either. I mean, Pokemon? I mean, exploring the open world in Pokemon is, like, pretty fun. I don't know if my audio is messing up right now. I really hope I'm not glitching out, like, every, like, 2 minutes or so. But, like, my video is really slowing down. I mean, you know, like, Pokemon will do fun things. You know, like, a Snorlax will, like, block the road. You have to, like, find another way or get a secret item. But, like, the actual main dungeons, I mean, there's rarely dungeons in Pokemon, you know. Oh, actually, there are dungeons, but I forgot exactly how they're designed. You have like towers that pop up every now and then. Like I remember in Pokemon Black, like the first introduction of the legendary, you have to like climb this like spooky tower. And maybe I'm just yapping and I don't remember very well. Maybe Pokemon actually does have some pretty cool dungeons, and I might just be yapping out of my ass. And maybe like Yakuza can learn a thing or two from like Pokemon's like dungeon design. But what I was thinking about was the gyms, not the gyms. I mean, like, nothing wrong with the gyms. I mean, like, you know, they're fun enough for what they are, but they're not really what I would look to for, like, dungeon design. Or maybe I'm just not... Maybe I'm, like, misremembering, like, some of the gyms are actually that cool, but, like, they were pretty, like, simple and to the point. And to be fair, like, the gyms are just, like, a simple, you know, test of skill, and then you get to have a boss fight, and that was that, and, like, that works. And then there were, like, other sections of the game which were a little bit more complicated with the dungeons. Oh, but just like Pokemon Black's such a good-looking game, and like I don't think the games are ever gonna look that good again. But that's kind of like the peak of that specific art style, and now they're doing new things in 3D. And working in 3D apparently is easier for them, but also harder. I don't know, man. Pokemon is all over the place, and I have not hopped back on like after Pokemon. I hate the games, but just because I just haven't been hopping back on. Yeah, LA is a really evil-ass city. It keeps fucking up my audio. These vibes are terrible for my microphone. But what I was trying to say before is that I don't hate the Pokemon games. Like, the reason I have not hopped back on after Pokemon X is just I haven't been hopping back on. I just haven't gotten around to it. I've just been playing other games along the way. I just have not played the other Pokemon games in a bit. Just playing other games. So no hatred on my part yet. Maybe if I play more Pokemon games, I'll gather a hatred or something. But yeah, I just haven't played them in a bit. I had my fun times with Black and Platinum, and that was that. Yeah, this boss fight is so much easier than like its variant in 7, and I'm very glad for that, because if it was as hard to kind of plan for in 7, that would be a pain in the ass. Okay, like one of the hardest things about like 7 is that, okay, so maybe I could no damage the dungeons, but can I no damage the dungeons and the boss fights at the end of those dungeons? Because that's like the hardest part about it. Because like routing for the entire dungeon and the boss fights in it, like that's the part that gets really hard. Just like even routing like the Seiryu Clan like encounter for like do that entire level, and then the boss fight at the end of that level, that routing gets like really difficult. Like it takes so long to like actually defeat like that first boss fight in comparison to like the one in this game. So that's gonna be like a huge upset and like no damaging the dungeons. And like from what I understand, basically like every single main story dungeon is no damageable, except I have not heard anything about the Millennium Tower. So once I see that that's possible, maybe I'll throw myself at that. But honestly, after playing it might be a bit of a pain in the ass. But if it is possible, maybe I'll do it, just because I want to record a Yakuza 7 video in 4K. Because like all my Yakuza 7 videos, the graphics are so bad. Because I ran them on my laptop or my Yakuza 7 videos were not Steam Deck. They were all laptop with the MacBook using Boot Camp to run Windows. Oh, they were all so bad. Okay. I was trashing the long battles in this game, but like this section is so dope. This is a great gimmick. Like it just immediately like just kind of makes things pop, like separating the party to deal with like 2 different battles. I really love like how this is a great reuse of the theater. Like boom, they're at the bottom level, we're at the top level. Just like I love that. It makes you like rethink how you approach this game, and like the way where like, you know, if one party like defeats like, you know, the villains on all the villains on one side, they'll just move over to the other side. Just dude, it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff happening right here. So yeah, no, super huge positive there. Big thumbs up for me on this part. So yeah, anyways, Bravely Default, I do not remember that game having the good dungeons. I mean, I don't know if I want to call them ass dungeons, but they weren't all that. But Bravely Default also has like the weirdest scaling ever, because you can just control it. And mind you, I guess like a lot of JRPGs just allow you to control scaling. You know, like, you know, you can control how many enemies appear in a level. If there's random encounters at all, you can like control how much money you gain, how much XP you gain there. I know Persona 4 Golden had a bunch of options for manipulating that. Persona 5 also had options for manipulating that. And Bravely Default also has options for manipulating that. But like what I ended up doing is just, I mean, when I want to just get through a dungeon as quickly as possible, just turn off all the enemies. And when I want to grind, I like, you know, turn up like the encounter rate to like a ridiculous rate. It just gives the game a very weird vibe. It doesn't really feel like any of the dungeons feel like that designed, because you just kind of turn off like the enemies that pop up every now and then. And just like they were basically like just straight hallways, and you know, every now and then there would kind of be a puzzle, but there wasn't that much going on in the Bravely Default dungeons. But hey, those boss fights were killer, and just that combat system's really, really fun. But yeah, playing on the hardest difficulty in Bravely Default, the fucking grind was very unbearable. That's probably one of the reasons I was so like on and off about that game, is that I had to keep grinding over and over and over for fucking everything. I skipped so many side fights because you had to grind to such a ridiculous extent to be able to deal good damage. Ah, man. And no, I have not played Bravely Second or Bravely Default 2. Those are 2 different games, believe it or not. Wait, is Bravely Second even called Bravely Second, or is it called like something else? It had like a weird little name. But yeah, no. I'll play them one day because they do seem like fun games. And there was that game Octopath Traveler, which people are kind of on and off about. Some people really love that game. Some people don't love that game that much. I don't know. Some people have like a grudge with that game, and other people are like, wow, this game's pretty cool, pretty neat. But yeah, and also I have to play some Final Fantasy games. So I not only have I gone to LA, I also went to Philly. Fun fact, so while I was like recording the no damages for this video and I was in Philly, I could not bring my PC setup with me, but I did take my Steam Deck with me to Philly. So while I was in Philly, I played my Steam Deck and pretty much like made save files for like every single like long battle, except for like the finale one. So like I got that far in the game, and I just had those. So like when I got back home to my PC setup, I could just load the save file and do the level instead of having to like play the entire game to reach those levels again once I returned from Philly. So yeah, Steam Deck is still super useful. It's still a really great portable console. have a really fun time with it. But yeah, no. For my no damage attempts or like my no damage boss fights or my recordings in general, I don't think I'm going to be using the Steam Deck for like recording stuff, which will limit me, but I can still like, you know, grind if I want to on the Steam Deck if I'm away. I can like, you know, get to certain save points on the Steam Deck if I'm away, or I could just play a fun game on the Steam Deck. But for LA, I did not bring the Steam Deck. I did not want to get distracted. Also, that thing is huge, and I was also in a huge rush to get to LA. Like, I'm going to tell you right now. So, like, I was, like, editing the no commentary video, and then, like, when I finished editing the no commentary video, I decided to, like, export it from Premiere using a 2-pass system. Big fucking mistake for a 4K video of 3 hours long. Like, it was, like, 7 hours had passed, and that shit was, like, at 18%. That shit was not gonna get done before I had to get on my fucking flight to LA. So I canceled it and went for like a 1-pass system, and that only took 2 hours. So, well, 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is way shorter. So then, like, once I exported that, I started uploading the process to YouTube, and it was like fucking 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And like my plane left pretty early in the morning. Like, I mean, I had to wake up at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I mean, I forget which one. So, you know, I had to wake up at one of those hours to, like, you know, get my plane and all that. So, ooh, that's a really great move to end that fight on. And, yeah, no, like, I mean, I was uploading the video, and then, like, while the video was uploading, I started, like, making the thumbnail for, like, my no commentary version. And I started to, like, organize, like, my thumbnail photos, which are basically just screenshots from, like, my 4K video. And I accidentally moved the video, which was on my desktop, you know, like the exported no commentary version. I moved that video to the file where I was holding like the screenshots, and my entire upload got corrupted on YouTube. So I had to like redo the upload process again. And by the time I had like all that set up, it was 2 a.m. I guess I'm gonna go sleep, and I got, you know, a little over an hour of sleep, but not more than 2. So then, like, I'm on the plane, fucking exhausted. I still have not slept early. I mean, I slept a bit on the plane, like 30 minutes or so, and you know, like and then like I got distracted and I started editing like a Roblox like final boss fights like no damage video, which I'm not gonna upload until I have more final bosses. Like, it's not complete yet, but I was just editing that video because like I had a lot of videos like at these things. There's this annoying thing Premiere does, where you just have like, you're trying to like compile a bunch of videos, and like one of the videos will just have desynced audio for fuck all reason. It's infuriating. This arrow attack is so much more useful than I expected it to be, but like if you set it up right, it can deal insane damage, man. I mean, the samurai class is just like absolutely goated in all regards. Just, it's a really great class. I'm just really happy to have like an actual good PC that can run 4K games. So like now the PS5 is not the best console in this house, it's the PC. So now the PS5 has no purpose. That's not true. I still have a lot of purpose for my PS5, but like the lack of exclusives over the years for the PS5 is just really sad. But, you know, it's funny, people really dog on the PS5 for having no games, but like, is Xbox in any better position? Every single Xbox game just goes to PC anyways. Like, I mean, isn't Xbox in a similar drought of exclusives as the PlayStation? Like, they both don't have fucking games because they all just go to PC. So, you know, that's just kind of the sadness of it. But the reason why my PS5 is like really convenient is because it's my Blu-ray player, all right? I play my 4K Blu-rays. I have a decent collection of Blu-rays, and I want to continue collecting Blu-rays, though it is a little bit fucked up that there's certain Blu-rays that just are not good. I recently found out that like most Blu-rays of Lord of the Rings just add a green filter over everything, like just like making a lot of the pretty colors of like the original movie just look not as good because Peter Jackson like went insane and like wanted to make it green. And I never knew that. And like, you know, I thought my Blu-ray collection was like super cool. I'm like, oh, you know, because it is super cool. Like the Blu-ray I have, you know, like it's not blue. Like the case is like black and gold, and it's like, oh, it's so thematic. I don't know if thematically is the right word, but like artistically, I love the little setup of that. But yeah, no, apparently every single like 1080p like Blu-ray version of Lord of the Rings just has a worse looking version of the movie, and I knew nothing about that. One of the most shocking Blu-ray wrongnesses, say that like 10 times fast. I didn't even say that right once. But yeah, no, the Raid movies, there's 2 Raid movies. They're called The Raid 2. They're fantastic. They have really fantastic action, just fantastic choreography. These actors are fucking martial artists. They're like out of this world. They're doing moves you have never seen before. Oh yeah, this boss fight is gonna have a little poison section, so equip those gas masks. I hope you saw my gear at the beginning of this section, at the beginning of this little long battle here, so you just be prepared for that. But yeah, no, apparently the Blu-ray of The Raid just makes it a lot more blue. And a recent 4K version of the movie came out, which just gets rid of the blue filter. And that 4K version was like supervised by the director, and the director was like, yeah, the movie was not supposed to be that blue in the Blu-ray. I mean, it is called Blu-ray, they made it more blue. But yeah, no, I own the Blu-ray for Raid 1. I'm like, oh man, I have to buy the 4K now, because that one's like the better looking version. It's not like completely blue, but like, I'm actually shocked by that. I did not know that the first Raid movie like was not supposed to be like, you know, egregiously blue. I thought that was just the style, but no, that's just like an over like color correction thing they did when like, you know, making like a 1080p version of the movie. But the thing is, you can't even trust 4K versions of like Blu-rays anymore, because certain 4K versions also fuck up the visuals. The most famous modern example is some of James Cameron's movies. Terminator 2, like on the 4K version, gets blue as fuck. Oh, mind you, I haven't seen Terminator 2 yet. I've seen like so many like, you know, weird little films there, but then there's like the most famous films of all time. Like there'll just be like a couple where I'm like, yeah, didn't see that one. Anyways, see this. I've never seen Jaws. I still need to see the movie Jaws, and apparently like a lot of people say that's probably Steven Spielberg's like best movie, and it's like one of his first-ish ones. I don't even know, man, but like, yeah, I mean, everyone says that's an amazing movie. I still have to see it. It's like one of them classics I still have to see. But yeah, no, another 4K Blu-ray which I did not hear great things about is True Lies. The movie with like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like they used AI to like upscale the movie to 4K, and like it fucks up all the human textures and the grain of the movie. So like the people's skin will just start morphing in unnatural ways. And, like the more insidious part of like these like 4K like fucked up 4K like remasters and all that is that they're probably the versions of the films that are going to be on streaming services. So you know, like people don't really be buying Blu-rays and like DVDs and 4K discs and all that much. They be streaming stuff, and the streaming services want the highest quality version of those movies, so they're gonna go to the newly released 4K version. So I don't know if this is happening right now, but I'm pretty sure like if you watch True Lies on a streaming service, it's gonna be this fucked up AI upscaled like 4K version. And I do believe they used AI to upscale certain other movies to like slightly better effect. For example, James Cameron's movie Titanic, I hear that 4K version was pretty good, all things considered. Didn't watch it myself, but like a lot of the reviews do say it was better handled. Aliens, I saw like one video on it, but yeah, it didn't look great. Just a little bit of fake 4K-ness and like UHD, like a bunch of technical shit, but it wasn't great. So that's just kind of sad. But yeah, just like, and Star Wars is like the most infamous example of like, you know, just old versions being gone or changed or yada yada. But let's not open that can of worms. People have been fucking discussing that shit for like 20 years now. Like, let's drop it. Ooh, drop it. I mean, if that was a sync up, that would have been a dope ass sync up. But yeah, I wanted to talk about something else, but I forgot exactly what I was gonna say. Something with I think something has to do with Spider-Man. Oh yeah. My PC, I'm just very happy to have like a actual good PC now, because like I have so many more options for like no damaging games and recording games, and like I don't have to buy them on the PS5 to like get like high quality footage of them anymore. You know, if I want to record a Resident Evil 4 remake video, I could play the PC version instead of playing it on PS5. But you know what? I'm happy with like my PS5 copy of like Resident Evil 4 remake. Wait, did I say Resident Evil 5 by accident? I did not mean that. I love how that bomb attack can be so useful with certain crowds, and this is one of those crowds. And mind you, okay, so let me get back to the PC. Like, The Witcher 3, it just always ran like ass for me. Like, I don't know. On my MacBook, it ran like ass. On my Steam Deck, it ran like ass. But now, I'm actually, like, playing it on the 4K, like, PC. It runs really nicely. Like, finally, the game runs really nicely. That's, like, one of my best friend's, like, favorite games. So, like, I gotta hop on that. He gave it to me for my birthday, and I have not played it in, like, 7 years. I gotta hop on that game. And there, like, the crowd, a lot of great crowd there gets, like, stunned by the electrical grenade. But sadly, we're going to have to do another electrical attack on this bald boss guy, because he just refused to get stunned there. And sometimes, in some of my runs here for the Tojo Clan, he just never gets stunned, and it's the most infuriating shit ever. Or sometimes he gets stunned and still doesn't attack. I hate this bald fucker. He can, like, fuck up my runs so quickly. But now I want to talk about something else. So like I do keep mentioning at the dungeons and like 7 and 8, they really need to step it up. They don't have that much sauce, but like I kind of want to clarify that like doing the no damage for like, you know, Yakuza 8's like main story dungeons was still kind of fun. Honestly, just like the thrill of like the one take, you know, just doing everything in one take, you know, like just rushing, combat, planning out like what moves I want to do each time, trying to make it look as cool as possible, you know, like it is more about the aesthetics and all that, even though we are kind of reaching the point in the video where I'm trying to do the things which are more efficient, not exactly the coolest. But I think I do some decently cool things, like, still, and just no damaging these levels just in general is cool enough, especially that I include, like, the final, like, boss fights at the end of these levels, because, like, there are other people which have no damaged, like, the dungeons here in 8. There's actually only one guy who's, like, done it at this exact moment in time, from what I understand, but he did not include, like, the boss fight at the end of this level, but I did, so, you know, that's cool and all. So we can just kind of evolve, do cooler versions of that, and maybe like mod it, you know, like add like fucking Kenzin Musashi into like Yakuza 8. Like, let's fucking do it, man. Let's get to it. And thankfully this enemy got to attack, but he just did a taunt which missed completely. See what I mean? Oh wait, did he not have electricity? I guess I failed to electrocute him, but I just got so lucky that like he does sumo spirit. But you can't really rely on the sumo spirit, because I've had so many situations where he doesn't do sumo spirit, he just doesn't attack. However, I did have one really funny like encounter, which was one of my failed attempts, but not failed because of him. I failed just because of something which happened later in the level. But he has this one attack which they call like a sumo strike or something, where he just starts rushing at you and starts doing like sumo, you know, strikes. Except he was so far away from any party member, like of my party, that he hit no one. You know, like everyone was like at the bottom left corner of the map, and he was at the top right corner of the map here. So it was just really funny to see play out. Also, I just want to say that like the tennis class, the rally strike move, I love that. Like the rally, rapid fire, like rally or something, where he just goes to town with a tennis racket. Super cool combos. Love that one a lot. And also like the one samurai move, I think I did it like in the first Yamai level, with like I think Tomizawa, where it's like ching ching ching. I forgot the name of that move though. It's like not that damaging of a move, but it's like a very similar animation. Really love that move quite a bit. And again, I should probably mention something about the Sea King's Talisman. So like I always have them equipped on my party members, but I rarely use them. Like I don't be using them that much. It's funny how like my thing said heat action, but like, I guess I pressed the button at the wrong time and didn't do a heat action. So that's a shame. You will see some heat action in this video every now and then. I don't think I got as crazy as I should have with like Kiryu's like heat action selection. Like in the first, in like Dwight's like big level at the beginning of the game, if you get near a syringe, you can do a heat action with that syringe specifically in some of like those battles. And in some of like my no damage attempts, I actually like managed to do that heat action. But in the successful like run where, you know, I did everything in one take from the very beginning all the way to Dwight, sadly I did not do the syringe heat action, but you can do it. So for anyone who wants to do a stylish no damage, there is a syringe lying around somewhere in the Dwight level in one of the encounters. And here we're just going to fight Arai from Yakuza 4, except he has like a completely different facelift. Like the Daidoji have given him like complete plastic surgery. He's rocking a new suit, new hairstyle, new eyes, like new fingers. He's a completely different person. He's just called Arai for some reason. He's just here now. Let's not fuck around with this guy. Let's kill him fast. Let's kill him ASAP. Because honestly, I don't think he can really be stunned by anything. But if you just like throw summons at him, like a bunch of summons, a bunch of attacks, just like really go to town on this guy, beast him out, then he'll get destroyed. And also, those other enemies are not slouches. You kind of get to a point where like if you take some enemies like not seriously enough, they'll just get a turn and like hit you, and then like your entire run will be over. Oh yeah, one fun move to do. Okay, Shadow Clone Jutsu, it's awesome, absolutely, but that's not what I was referring to. The bee sting move, it's really fun. You know, you just summon bees, they can like stun enemies. Like it's a more fun move than like the Moth Scales like Jutsu. Even though like the Moth Scales Jutsu is like more fun, but no, like the Moth Scale Jutsu is like, you know, more damaging, but like the bee one is like more fun. I like the animation better. Check this out. So that's like a tropey little like segment in most Yakuza games. Well, not most, but it does pop up every now and then. It was in the original Yakuza 2, and then Yakuza 0 did like a little reference to it, and it was very cute. And then Kiwami 2 was a remake of 2, so they brought it back again. And I feel like every time they've done something like that, it was better choreographed and just like the animation just looks. That's such a cool move. I never use it because, you know, it doesn't deal that much damage, but it's so freaking cool. He's like send them into the air, you like slash him a few times. Like I'm telling you, man, there's so many dope animations hidden in moves that are just not like not optimal for like, you know, strategy and all. But yeah, no, this is probably like one of the clunkier like renditions of like that little gimmick. Like maybe not clunkier than like the original 2, but honestly, I feel like the original 2 one like is better. It just goes on for a while. It's just choreographed better, like in Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 2. But you know what? I don't want to hate on it too much. It's still cool. And the one thing is they are so HD in this game. He is so HD. So yeah, that first crowd, if you run fast enough, you can avoid them. But this second crowd, I have not found a way to avoid them. Maybe you could avoid them if you kind of wait them out patiently, but like if I have to like stand in a corner for like longer than 10 seconds, I'm not doing that. And here, this move is completely useless. I was like considering kicking Psycho out off my team, but like I love this outfit, dude. It's like awesome. It looks beautiful, bro. That's a beautiful outfit right there. She is not leaving the fucking team, and also she's a great like ninja. Even though her class is not called ninja, but I have still not learned how to pronounce that word that starts with K. So you know, just roll with me here. But back to the Sea King's Talisman. So yeah, here I'm getting cheap because like if you fuck around with these guys and like waste too many turns, they're gonna jump you. And honestly, a lot of the times you are not dodging that attack unless you like learn the Sea King Talisman timings. But that's a bit of a pain in the ass, so I don't do that. But the thing I actually wanted to mention about the Sea King's Talisman is that you're gonna see that like every single one of my party members has one equipped and be like, what the fuck? How did you get so many of them? And I'll tell you right now, 2 playthroughs. In the first playthrough, you can get 2 of them. One, by collecting all like the talismans, all like the great fortunes like hidden around the world. If you collect enough of them, then like the little Camarocho like mascot will give you the Sea King's Talisman. And then in the big swell, if you clear one of the floors, that's another Sea King's Talisman. And now to get 2 more, another playthrough of the game. And I've done so many playthroughs of this game, like 3, 4, 5, just like for no damage, grinding, like purposes. And honestly, throughout all these playthroughs, this has to be like one of my favorite Yakuza games. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun to play. It's so much fun to play. Hawaii's a great setting. Like, it's not perfect by any means. Honestly, like, this game is kind of a little all over the place in many, many ways. Honestly, a lot of the comparisons to Metal Gear Solid 4 are very apt. But Metal Gear Solid 4 is also, like, one of my most replayed, like, Metal Gear Solid games. So, you know, what does that say about me? Just the game is so much fun to play. I just wish that like certain aspects of it were like a little better, just like came together more solidly. Like this is a joke I said in like my Yakuza 8 video. I'm just gonna repeat it again. It would be really funny if Yakuza 7 got like a Kiwami version where they just got like Yakuza 8 combat. That would be pretty banger. I love this sync up.
Whoa! Got it!
Let's talk about difficulty. How hard are each of these long battles? Okay, so like the Seiryu Clan one at the beginning of the game, I remember being very easy. Honestly, I don't think that took me any more than like 2 or at the most 3 attempts. So maybe like the first attempt was a little clunky, so like so the second attempt I went a little bit less clunky, but it's very easy, especially if you're fully maxed out and doing all your stuff. Oh, another dynamic thing, check it out. You know, it's funny that I stopped for that because there's going to be another dynamic little thing very soon. Technically a dynamic intro because it's pretty much the start of his actual boss fight and not fighting the crowd. But then like after the Seiryu Clan one, there's the Dwight dungeon, which is a pretty big step up in difficulty just because that dungeon is so long and like filled with so many like different obstacles. Thankfully the lasers were not annoying at all. They were very easy to deal with, but that's just a fun gimmick. It's like a fun little like movement gimmick. I love that. And look at that, it's gonna happen right now, literally right now. Boom. I mean, I'm not even done talking about Dwight's dungeon, but you know, like whatever. This part with a really long sword is pretty cool, so check it out. Before I continue talking about difficulty, I did mention I did not take my Steam Deck to LA, but I did take my 3DS just because at Anime Expo, I'm just expecting some of those lines to be long as hell, and I want a little device to, like, you know, chill with while being in a line. And I'm going to take my camera with me. I'm going to take some fun photos and all that, kind of little vlog it out a little bit. And the camera bag is big enough to actually fit the 3DS, because the 3DS is not that big. The Steam Deck, it would not fit the Steam Deck, and just carrying that whole big-ass long thing around isn't going to be that convenient. Komaki makes a little cameo, fun to see him. But yeah, no. Dwight's dungeon took me a good amount of attempts, and just like every single attempt takes like 25 or so minutes. It's a long dungeon, so believe me, when you fail at Dwight's section, the final boss, it's infuriating. But I think like in every like section where I reached Dwight, which is like twice, you know, the first time I failed that, but the second time, that's when I got my no damage. But it's just it's easy to kind of fail in some of the earlier sections as well. I can't name one off the top of my head, but that is a decently difficult dungeon just because it's so long. It goes on for a little bit while, so like if you troll around too much with some of like the easier enemies, they can get the jump on you and it really sucks. And I think I've had unfortunate accidents where like when I go beast mode with Kiryu or something, or like do a certain move, like some of the collateral damage from the environment hits one of my party members. I think that might be how I failed the Dwight section. Like straight up, like I tried to like do a melee attack on like Dwight, and then like they ran into a piece of furniture which they kicked, and the kick like impacted one of my party members, and that's how I failed. It was infuriating. It sucks so much. Oh my goodness. Or I might be misremembering that, but something to that effect did happen to me one time throughout my process of no damaging here. So there's that. And what's the fight which I included after that? Just like the boss. I'm not going to talk about like the mini battles, the ones which don't even count as long battles. Then there's the Yamai Theater. I mean, basically like the hardest part about that one is just Yamai himself. You kind of have to like figure out his whole thing, get like a good setup going, you know, to like really destroy him before he's allowed to do anything, because like his moves are so dangerous. You really cannot allow him to do a single thing. And the hostesses aren't too dangerous, though they will heal him up and like, you know, give him like stat boosts and all that, but it's just you can't let him do anything because you can't trust what he's gonna do. But besides that decently like easy dungeon, you know, just kind of route the enemies out a little bit. And if you want to save some time, you can skip a good amount of the rooms and just go straight to the room with the key in it, and that pretty much solves all your problems. And what was the dungeon after the first Yamai one? Like, did Kiryu get a dungeon after that? No, I don't think he did. I think it's another Ichiban dungeon. I think we returned to the theater. I mean, I'm watching it right now. It's just, I'm trying to remember the specific order of things, and like I'm actually like going a little bit blank. Oh, lordy lord, what am I doing? And I think my audio is glitching too. But yeah, that Yamai one specifically, I'm pretty sure I did that in either 1 or 2 takes. Very easy. I mean, I already know what to expect, and I planned for it. Very nice. So yeah, the next one is like you fight the Barracuda again, but it's also at Yamai's Theater. And this one's not too bad, but like certain setups can be a little bit nasty. Like if you're not serious with some of the boss fights, like the one where you're split in like 2 halves of your team, then they'll get a turn and they'll destroy you. And also like that boss fight, sometimes you'll get paralyzed and still move. So that was frustrating. But besides that, it wasn't too bad. I think I got it down in like maybe 4 or 5 tries, you know, like just a little flick of the wrist there. This one was a bit of a pain in the ass, I won't lie. This one took me a good couple hours, just because, I don't know, like there was just so many sections that kept fucking up. Like in the beginning, sometimes I love that this guy attacks his own party member. I love that. You know, like sometimes like I'll depend on an enemy being stunned and they'll just move anyways. There's other times where... Oh wait, I was actually wondering, did I kill the boss fight yet or no? Like this guy, sometimes like you'll be like paralyzed and you'll still move, but I think right now I'm gonna kill him. Oh, he's not dead yet. Yeah, he just moves, but thankfully like the move he does is not an attack, it's just like a little encouragement thing, so we get to do like a fun little attack. Oh, we get to like just rush him a little bit. But yeah, no, this level was actually harder. Took me a good couple hours, maybe like 4 hours or so. I don't know how many attempts that was, but it was like, I was like, dude, this level's supposed to be easy, but yeah, you just cannot troll on this level that much. Especially with some of like the bigger crowds. Like, if you try to do a move that isn't like Essence of Dragon God with a summon, they'll just screw you over, because like, it's not just that there's a bunch of enemies, like, you know, that you have to like defeat all at once, as they're also like way separated from each other. If they were all like clumped together in like one big area, you could do like some of the more fun moves, but a lot of those fun moves, you can't really do them when the enemies are like spread out like all across the map, you know, like on different sides of the continent, like on different sides of like, you know, the atmosphere and all that. Hemisphere, that's the word I wanted to use. And then like after the little Tojo Clan dungeon, there's this dungeon. And this one, was it hard? Was it not hard? I think I had like a decent 1 to 2 hours on this one, and I got it down. I forget exactly like what I found hard about this one. Was there a boss fight before like the big Dwight one that was a pain in the ass? I don't know. I'm trying to remember how this one goes down. Oh, I think like the chainsaw guy, like he's not really that hard. You can like really stomp him with damage, but if you don't stomp him with damage like immediately, or get a good stun going, or just get lucky with one of his attacks and it doesn't hit you, then that fight can really screw up your runs. But besides that, I don't think there's anything too bad. Oh yeah, with these crowds, if you don't like defeat every single one of the enemies like fast enough before they get a turn, that can screw up some of your runs. So yeah, this one is just another one you really shouldn't troll too much on, but not too bad. It does go on for a good while though. And also like the little gimmick where you fall through the floor is fun. And just like the gimmick where it just like goes in a different direction. You go into like this dilapidated building. It's like a childhood like center with like little baby drawings all over the wall. Very atmospheric place. Very good vibe. Well, good vibes isn't the fucking word to use. Like here, you really should not troll in this section. It's just like all the enemies are kind of like doing. Oh wait, I don't think this counts. Wait, does it count? Yeah, there's like 3 enemies in front of you, 3 in the back. I mean, that's just not good positioning for like being all funny and quirky and no damage. But you know, it is positioning that kind of makes you think like this move's really awesome. Like yeah, it's not the most tactically efficient, but you know what? It's super dope. He's like teleporting all over the place. It looks sick as hell. I love it. But yeah, specific strategies like the spin sweeper. I want to use this move more often, but like if it's only gonna hit 2 enemies because they're all separated like that, there's no real point in like pulling it out. And then after this level would be spoilers for the next couple levels, and honestly, I'm gonna have a lot to talk about with the next coming levels. And yeah, those levels are all easily the hardest. They're easily the hardest. Yeah, there's nothing else to mention. Like the level that comes after this one is the hardest one in the game by far, without a doubt. And the one that comes after that is not as hard, but there's like certain things about the setup to like that final level that you know you actually need to have a little bit of skill to pull off. Here, this section right here, that guy has to attack, and like you know, okay, I think raining arrow actually saves me. This move is random, you know. Sometimes like it'll do what you want it to do, and like other times it'll leave one guy alive. But boom, it actually like saved me this time. I don't think this is gonna be the last time raining arrow saves me. Just raining arrow, it's a fun move to pull out, but like sometimes if there's like way too many enemies, like it just doesn't work out. I think here you want to stun some of these guys. You know, just get a couple of stuns going and just kind of go from there. But yeah, in terms of like really hard parts about this level, I can't really think of like one right now. But it's just a level you really can't troll too much on. Just keep the trolling to a minimum and you should be able to no damage this in one take. Not too bad. Honestly, the Tojo Clan one was harder. So yeah, I'm just resting my lungs there for a little bit, but I forgot what I was gonna say. Monkey flip. This is such a cool like animated move, but it doesn't deal the most damage, and it just isn't as useful compared to his other moves that you don't do it. But it looks so cool. And I just forgot what I was gonna say. Honestly, I just don't have much to say until we reach like those final levels. Like just like that, just the graffiti, just like the vibe of this area, really nice. But yeah, no. But there was a very specific thing I wanted to say, and I just forgot it. I don't know if it was like around Yakuza 7 or Yakuza 8, so on and so forth. There was something really specific, and it's just not coming to mind. It was like something about like its design or like the turn-based combat. Okay, so one random thing. This really isn't the thing I wanted to mention, but I'll just mention it anyways. I think Yakuza 8 really suffers that it does not have a money-making minigame. Like Yakuza 7 had like the business minigame. Once that was fully upgraded, that was the way you got your money. You know, you did that a bunch of times. Really love this move a lot. It's really fun to see. A great little animation there. But yeah, no, Yakuza 8, like I thought like Dondokoto Island, I mean I put too many syllables there again, would be like the money making game, but no. It barely makes anything compared to like some of the money you get later. Like the best way to get money in this game is just like, you know, grind the dungeons, you know, like the Hawaiian Haunt like a bunch of times. And the end game boss fights. Like the end game boss fights give you the most amount of money out of everything in this game. So basically like the way I've acquired infinite wealth is just like I've run through like those like grinding dungeons like multiple times through like multiple playthroughs, and on those multiple playthroughs I fought those boss fights again and again and again, and I've gotten so much money from fighting like those end game boss fights, you know, throughout multiple playthroughs that I acquired the infinite wealth. But that's not like efficient at all. That's not like a good first playthrough thing. Like, and here I get so lucky that this attack doesn't damage me. It just makes me go to bed. I don't know if I did a perfect guard correctly or if it's just that the grenade doesn't damage you. But yeah, no. The status effect is just sleeping. Thankfully, the status effect isn't something else. That's actually a huge issue I have with this game, which I'm going to mention later on. Dude, I actually do this move again. I do it in this long battle, but I don't do it in the other long battle. But to be fair, the other long battle is pretty insane and out of this world. And I just remember what I wanted to talk about. Okay, so in Yakuza 7, in Chapter 12, I remember the gimmick, which really made me go, I don't like this gimmick. It wasn't really the judgment, like, you know, point and look stuff that was in the Korean Mafia level. It was the stealth in Chapter 12 of, like, you know, the Omi Alliance level. That stuff slowed things down to a alt. Like, you just have to, like, wait the enemies out, get past them. Like, I don't know. I mean, that gimmick, I prefer stuff like the lasers over just stealthing around kind of awkwardly. But to be fair, Yakuza's always had, like, slightly awkward stealth. Or in its DNA. I mean, the first Yakuza games are just, like, the random, like, little stealth sections. But those are charming. They're, like, so short and, like, just weird. And then Yakuza 0 just kind of expanded upon it. Just the thing is, Yakuza 0 has like these little stealth sections, and basically Judgment is just more of that. But like Yakuza 0 segments are just like very gimmicky and like, you know, one off. Like Majima only really did it like twice. But then Judgment is like, I swear, like every 2 chapters you're like doing this insanely long tailing mission. It's like, and the great thing about like Majima's tailing missions is you can just ignore them half the time and just get straight into combat. So, you know, you don't even have to deal with them. But in Judgment, no, you do actually have to tail that guy. And it's like there's not much depth, like, you know, added since Yakuza 0. It's almost exactly the same shit. So it's just like, Lost Judgment gives you a couple more mechanics to work with, which make it slightly more bearable. And also, like, it's a little bit, like, more difficult. Like, when enemies look back, like, you know, like, that, like, the meter just builds up way faster, so you have to be a little bit more careful. And also, like, one thing I like in Lost Judgment is that you just run to a piece of wall and you just get to, like, hide behind it. It's not, like, completely automated like it was in Judgment. Like, it still is automated, but it just feels less automated. Because, you know, in Judgment, like, you know, it's just, like, a big glowing, like, icon you press, and then, boom, that's the thing you hide behind. While in Lost Judgment, it's, like, more naturalistic. But to be fair, let's not give Lost Judgment too many points, because that game, like, has the little Assassin's Creed climbing sections that just waste a bunch of time. But honestly, that's nowhere near as egregious as, like, the pace killers of, like, the first Judgment game. And also just Lost Judgment is just a much more fun game to play, combat wise, just like side content wise. First Judgment game is pretty dope, and it has like one of the best stories in the franchise, maybe the best story, who knows. Just a couple issues here and there in the gameplay, though it's still a very fun game, still like the best Dragon Engine combat, like after Yakuza 6 and Kiwami 2. Okay, see, I'm worried about that. I don't know if that was an enemy or Ichiban. Let me check that. It was the enemy, but like Ichiban was like right behind him when the enemy got hit, but like he was like dodging the attack. But you'll see that Ichiban took no damage. Whoever was guarding was the enemy specifically, but that's like a very scary little situation and very easy to miss. But I actually did not get it. Yeah, I love this attack. I mentioned it before. Love that attack. It will show up again. It will return in fucking Infinite Wealth Endgame or whatever the fuck. But another thing I really wanted to mention is that I'm sorry about all the audio issues with like my recording and like my commentary. Just because, like, my MacBook of, like, 5 to 6 years here is just fucking dying. It's just so old and decrepit. It's, like, lightweight. It can't take, like, all this work. It's like, heavy weight to it because it is very light in weight, if you catch my drift. Also, this mic, I think it might be time to upgrade to a new mic. A better mic. You know, I mean, over the course of my YouTube career, I had one mic. It was a tiny Samsung Go mic. And now I have another Samsung mic, but this is a Samsung Not Go mic because it's a bigger mic. But now, like, the stand for it's kind of broken, so it's kind of, like, a little wiggly-woggly here. So maybe, like, the wires are a little fucked up with this one. Honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with this mic specifically, but you know what? Maybe it's time for an upgrade. Maybe I should get a better mic. So, yeah, once we reach this chainsaw part, no fucking around, no trolling. We need to just take this guy out ASAP, you know, do as many damaging moves as possible. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to set him up like that. Not sure if that's really the best way to go about it, but you know, whatever. It's fun. It's fun to do. And, hey, Chitose helped out. And she kicked a little thing which could have damaged one of my party members, but it didn't, so here we go. Move a little shadow dance. Oh, wait, well, that was fun to see. That barrel went, like, back really, really far. Wait, like, how far? Wait, is it still going back in the back of the room there? Wait, can someone, like, double study that? Because, like, I mean, the physics of that looks really, really weird. Like, and yeah, once again, substitution jutsu, just because like we can't fuck around here. No trolling. We need to do as many great attacks as possible. Do another summon. We have the money to spend here. We have the infinite wealth to throw at the boss fights here. And also, if you did not know, yes, in between every boss, in between like every long battle I do here where I waste a lot of money, I reload a save and go through it without wasting any money, so I can save that money for the next long battle. So yeah, if I was no damaging the entire game, you know, from point A to point, you know, Z, you know, like 8 hours speedrun playthrough no damage, then yeah, I can't spam as many summons because, you know, I'm not gonna get all that money back that quickly. But since it's just long battle by long battle, I'm just doing it that way. So then it's just like a couple normal enemies. Oh yeah, these guys can screw you up. I think I actually got screwed up by these guys every now and then. So yeah, this is actually the last long battle I do in this game where I'm using like the save file where like I'm not at my best. And then like after this like long battle, I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta replay the entire game over again in order to like, you know, do New Game Plus with the save file where like all my characters are like almost as fully upgraded as possible. Like pretty much like I need to use a save file, which I had like after doing the entirety of the big swell, no damage, like type shit. Yeah, today I'm gonna eat sushi. I was told that apparently the sushi in LA is really good. I don't know why they said that, and it didn't recommend me any specific place, but I am down for sushi. Just a little gorging, a little try it, and yum yum, fish, I love fish. And here I guess I'm trolling a little bit, or trying to give Adachi like another turn so that when we reach Dwight, you know, the ultimate attack will load a lot quicker, because it will be useful to use the ultimate attack with Dwight, especially when it like summons more people to like take us down. Man, I'm just realizing I have too many videos on Yakuza 8, like I'm already struggling to talk about stuff in this game. If I make another no damage video of like, you know, Yakuza 8 and it's another like 2 hour long video, I'm just gonna like, what am I gonna talk about, man? I gotta like learn like the principles of like Buddhism or something to have like a new thing to like yap about, cause like, oh my goodness, dude. The original like Yakuza 8 all boss fights video, like no damage, has like, you know, 2 hours, like 57 minutes or something. My big swell video, and like about an hour long or so, so that's like what? That's like 4 hours of like content, and now we got this video, which once again is like another 3 hours. Like, well, just 7 straight hours of me just yapping about this game. I mean, mind you, I yap about other things along the way, but like so much yapping. I think I let this one play out. So no, I'm not taking the bait. And you know, it's funny I say bait because hey, those dolphins are kind of fish. Do dolphins take bait, or are they too smart to eat bait? I don't know. I'm not taking the bait. I am not gonna stop yapping at this exact moment, but this fight should be pretty easy as long as you just like annihilate this guy. I think we're still going to take advantage of the fact that this guy becomes a big scaredy pants. Like once Chitose sends the dogs after him, she's going to let the dogs out and all that. Ooh, oh, I will let this play out though. Yeah, I gotta watch more of Danny Trejo's movies. I gotta watch like the very first one, like Robert Rodriguez Maze. I mean, it's like pretty monumental. Not sure if people think it's the best movie ever, but I hear a lot of sick things about it. Just some of like Robert Rodriguez's like earlier movies before he got like a little too digital. I hear a lot of good things about that. Like there was like a specific like Westerner or something where it's like you had a little, people just kept talking about like the grit and the grittiness or whatever. Wait, am I gonna make this guy afraid, or am I just gonna kill him? It seems like I'm just gonna kill him because I'm going to town on this guy. I'm just exploding him and just boom, boom, boom. Or maybe I'm taking advantage of the fact that like the one move he's gonna do once he gains control here is just summon more people, and I can just deal with that. That might straight up be what I'm doing. Because I don't know if I planned for it, but yeah, he just summons more people. Oh, and I think the one thing is that he's already burned, so I don't think I can make him afraid again, so I kind of fucked up that way. But, you know, I got lucky. He just summons more people, so we just have to immediately kill those people. Oh, I'm going to make him afraid. So I still do that. I'm just going to let that entire thing play out. Not going to take the bait, not going to start yapping or whatever. But moving on from Danny Trejo movies, I'd be hitting up the Barnes & Nobles, not for the books, but just for Criterion Collection Blu-rays. So, like, I don't know if there's any, like, Criterion Collection Blu-rays that are, like, fucked up in the way that, like, certain Blu-rays are where they make it too blue or too green or whatever, because, like, the Criterion, like, you know, collection seems to, like, uphold a certain standard, or, like, they're approved by the director, like, they're like, kind of like the pretentious Blu-rays. I mean, I say pretentious just because, like, the film bros, like, Blu-rays, you know, like, this is the special Blu-ray, which was, like, you know, handpicked by the director, and, you know, they, like, fucking yada yada. But you know, they're good Blu-rays. All right, so Barnes & Noble's, like, a lot of the time they'll just have a sale on these like specific type of Blu-rays. So you know, like half off, you know, like 25% off. So I got a couple Blu-rays, you know, Criterion Collection like discs from the Barnes & Nobles. I got 4 in mine. Actually, I don't know if I got 3 or 4, but I got the movie Bound, which was the debut feature of like the Wachowski sisters, Wachowski brothers back then. They transitioned and all that, made The Matrix, yada yada, made Speed Racer, bam boom pow, live action Speed Racer. But yeah, Bound was their first movie. Haven't seen it yet, but I hear a lot of great things about it. I hear that it has a lot of like really great like cinematography and like just directing, cutting, and all that. 2 lesbians, the mob. Shit gets crazy, they're like trapped in a room or something. I'm keeping all context beyond that like completely blind, just gonna go into that very nice. Love the colors of the laser there. And that's probably gonna be like the only time I let the laser cinematic play out. See, the raining arrow is gonna save me right here. It could like, you know, fuck me over if it doesn't kill one of these enemies, but it just destroys all of them. Oh, that's beautiful, man. Oh wait, actually no, it leaves Dwight alive, but he's like scared, so you know, ooh. So we get to do a cool little move with like Chitose, and that pretty much finishes it off. I got Memories of Murder, which I actually have seen. I mean, I saw it when I bought the Blu-ray. It's like one of the first like Blu-rays I saw of the ones I bought at Barnes & Noble. So yeah, Memories of Murder is a great film. I think I like Parasite better, but like, I mean, just really like, it's got a great mix of comedy, like seriousness. You know, like, I mean, it kind of starts off a bit more comedic in the beginning, but as it moves along, it just gradually gets more and more serious and desperate and just like, oh, so what an ending, man! What an ending. It's just like really, really sour mood to end on, but you know, just really, really, really good film. And then I bought another Blu-ray, but I forgot what it was. Oh wait, I forgot to mention the pawn shop I bought Final Fantasy X from. But wait, the third Criterion Blu-ray I bought was... It was something... Oh, I bought Mulholland Drive. I already saw that movie. I know it's fantastic. But I saw that like on streaming or whatnot. And I think on streaming they're like on DVD and whatnot, so... There's all that. So yeah, this shark, easier than I was expecting. Honestly, I was expecting him to be a bit of a pain in the ass. Sometimes he can be a pain in the ass because like every now and then the shark thinks he has more agility than like, you know, he actually does. And sometimes like my teammates get slower than they actually are. So like sometimes I have a bunch of turns to take him down, and other times I don't have that many turns. However, I found a good strategy for like when I don't have that many turns. And it's just basically like what I'm doing right now. If you just copy this with like the stats I have right now. So yeah. For this finale, I had to replay the entire game, but this time with the actual right save file, which, you know, has like all my party members like fully maxed out, but I still had to grind a tiny bit before doing this section. And yes, everyone is in their swimsuits because we're going to the island, we're going to the beach. Just roll with it. But yeah, I wanted to get goofy with this one. If I'm gonna be the first person to like no damage this entire thing in one take, I'm gonna do it with everyone like fucking just naked as fuck. Let's fucking go. I just Uber eated some sushi. It's sitting in the corner. And you know what else is sitting in the corner? My telephone. My telephone, which has my outline of points I can talk about. We're finally at the point where I can mention certain things from my outline, which only makes sense once we're at the finale of the game. So, yeah, no. I had to max out Jujing Han's like bond level because I was like running this level a couple times and I realized there's no way I'm going to be able to no damage this level if I don't have Jujing Han's bond level at the max. Because like, in every single run I've done of this game, like in the 200 hours I spent on this game, I have not done anything with Jujing Han because like he's just like way too under leveled at the point you get him at the game. He like shows up at the very end. There's like no point. Like I'm already too invested in my other party members, so it's like, what are we doing here? So yeah, here a little bit suboptimal, but it's just fun to do that move. It's like fireworks and all that. Oh yeah, the 4th of July was yesterday. Happy 4th of July! But sadly, this is the 5th of July I'm recording this, and this video is going to come out the 6th of July. And my no commentary version just came out the 5th of July, so yeah, it's over. I missed my chance. The Force will not be with us today. Oh, man. But yeah, no, I need Jujing Han's like bond level to be at the max, and like, you know, at this point in the game, with this save file, at this specific point, like his level was like at 80 something, so I actually had to grind it out a bit. Because I need him to have access to Dolphin Dive for the final boss. So yeah, I just hated grinding it out because I had to like go to every single little spot on the map for like the friendship meter, get all the friendship bingos, and it wasn't enough. It was like at 90 by that point. And then I just had to buy a bunch of flowers and just like woo him by just shoving flowers down his throat. Boom, 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 boom. It was not quick. It took me like an hour and a half of just grinding that out to make him like my level 100 friend. It could always be worse. You know, it could take 5 days, but yeah, no. Wasted a little bit of time there, becoming best friends with Jujing Han. Also, with the shark boss fight, you can actually paralyze him if you want to test that out. It's very inconsistent, and I don't know how many times you have to like do electricity attacks against him, but you can actually paralyze the shark. and the shark will actually be like, oh, I can't move because I'm paralyzed. So that is helpful. That is like a strategy you can like exploit. But yeah, no, not one I needed to do, but it is possible. And then for the bombs there, I mean, maybe there's a way to run past those for like speed runs, but I just decided to take it like the easy way. Also, I'm pretty sure you can skip this crowd. It's just like, it's a little inconsistent. I don't know exactly how to do it completely, but you can skip them if you like run fast enough and like, you know, away enough and like a very like correct angle. You can like skip this little fight, but I failed. I think I only managed to do it like once, and like every single other time I just get caught by them, which in that case, boom, just gonna do my basic summon, little beam, just take him out right there. Because like, yeah, this is easily the hardest like long battle in the game. It's because there's like 3 major boss fights, all with a bunch of health bars. You need like a certain setup. Like the shark, you can enter that fight just by eating with a boosted attack, just by eating at the sushi place at the top right corner of the map. That's the place that gives you like the attack boost. So if you want an attack boost entering a level, entering a fight, that's where you go. Sushi place, check it out. And then like, you know, the squid is also another huge one. And for that, I actually have like a very ambitious strategy. Honestly, it's kind of hard to explain. You're just gonna have to see it when we get there. But we will need like the friendship meter like back again in order to take advantage of it. And honestly, with the squid and with my party setup, we just get so many turns to attack. That's a great attack. I love doing that. Boom, just hits them both at the same time. And like Kasuga decides to help out with the one guy there. Boom, take that guy out there. And it's just that guy's left, and we just take him out like that. Damn, he has no grapple moves. But at least he gets poisoned. Oh, this is going to be a really funny way to take him out. Like, we're going to do that attack. He doesn't die, but he dies from the poison. That's lovely. I love that. I love that so much. Oh, yeah, there is... Another thing with the shark is that if every single one of your party members has the Sea King's Talisman, you can actually dodge the shark's, like, Primal Press. That's one of the attacks he does. It's like the Primal Press. If you perfect guard at the exact right time with the exact right positioning. Like, I managed to pull it off, but when I did pull it off, I wasn't recording because, like, I already no damage the level, and I just loaded a save to just go through the level again to keep my infinite wealth for when I do Kiryu's part. But when just, like, doing that without wasting any money, I actually managed the perfect guard of that specific attack, and every single party member dodged. Because, like, I've had situations where, like, you know, every single party member will have the Sea King's Talisman, and only Ichiban would dodge the attack. But this time, it was every single one of my party members. It was so it was beautiful to witness. And sadly, it is not the last time an unfortunate accident happens with the Sea King's Talisman. I'll explain in further detail, like, later on in this video. We have 48 or 47 minutes of it left. But yeah, no, I Uber eated some sushi. It's in the corner. I already talked about that. But yeah, I plan on eating that after I finish this commentary video here. Just like, I don't feel right like finishing that sushi and then going back to this video, but it's mighty tempting. It's in that corner. Like, I originally like thought about going to a sushi restaurant outside, but like I was gonna do it after I finished, like, you know, recording commentary for this video, but it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. I mean, it is a 3-hour long video, and just because this video is 3 hours long doesn't mean that the commentary process is 3 hours long. It's more like 4 or 5 hours of, like, you know, time process, not including downloading the video, uploading the video, making a thumbnail for the video. Just because, you know, I'm doing commentary and then I take breaks every now and then. I'm not doing this in one take. And then, like, even if I did do it in one take, then I have to like edit the audio. I mean, I don't edit audio in a very elaborate fashion. I just kind of like make sure that nothing's like clipping, you know, make sure that I'm loud enough, you know, so on and so forth. Just a little like walkthrough, but that still takes some time. Just oh man. But another thing I wanted to mention is I'm still operating on like a 1 hour of sleep. So, you know, I'm still very tuckered out, and I need to go to bed at a good time. For to like be prepared for like Anime Expo on Saturday, you know, actually take a lot of photos, get around the area. I actually have a very impressive cosplay of Okabe from Yakuza 0. I'm gonna be cosplaying him the event. It's just that I'm gonna be there like the entire day at Anime Expo Saturday, like from fucking, I don't know, let's say 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. I don't know how I'm gonna like continue smelling good. I mean, I have to like manage that. Maybe carry like some deodorant and like a perfume on me. Like every like 5 hours or so, you know, like respec. Respec. Oh yeah, see the fire arrow in this specific situation, I love that. And you can do the scattering of flowers. I don't know if it's gonna kill everyone, but it's gonna take out so many of them. Okay, it's just a one like loser in the corner decides not to get damaged by anything, but just oh, that's so beautiful. I love when the attacks like synchronize like that. Yeah, you could just laser everyone with the Ichiban and like, you know, it doesn't matter, but like when you do cool synchronizations like that, it's more satisfying. So yeah, these guys, you can skip them. The way these guys catch you is very, very strange. Like, they don't really have a detection meter. Like, just straight up, if you're like in their vicinity, then you just automatically like get caught by them. It's very weird. I've had very strange situations where I was at the top of the stairs and the enemies downstairs still caught me somehow. I don't know how. Also, I forgot to talk about them, but like the little mini boss we fight in the cave, like the one you can't avoid. Oh yeah, but before I talk about that, if you set up the burning arrow a certain way, you can do a really big explosion, and I did not set it up well. But if you do set it up well, you can do some really fun stuff there. But yeah, back to a previous fight we did before. Oh yeah, this arena, no, actually I want to continue talking about this arena. This arena can fuck you over if you do the wrong moves. Like, with Jujing Han, I tried to do like a poison shot, but I was like too close to a barrel, and the barrel exploded, and it just sends me flying, and it just interrupts my move, and I don't do any move. And it pretty much just like wastes my turn. The one like upside of this is that the exploding barrels in this arena like don't damage you if they interrupt your move, but they do interrupt your move. Like, I've had no damage runs fail because like I was trying to do something and then boom, like my character just doesn't like attack because they get interrupted by an explosion. It's like really slapsticky and like just Three Stooges-y. But yeah, no, back to the actual thing I was talking about before, the little mini boss, like the two, I'm going to call them the two Palakana brothers. They're kind of assholes. However, you can kind of just continue switching over to Ichiban and you can keep spamming the laser and summons, and that pretty much takes them out. And I was really worried about this section. However, if you're fully like leveled up, level 99, and have most of your jobs leveled up to the point where like you have like the highest agility possible, or decently highest agility possible, this section won't be a problem. It's just like in the second phase, there's this one enemy which I swear always moves first, but that's not the case if you level up enough. It's just like in my previous no damage video, I was like, what, level like 94 instead of like 99, but if you're 99, you should be fine as long as you also upgraded the other jobs and also have a good like gear setup, you know, like translucent souls. I mean, I also have the Sea King's Talisman equipped for everyone, even though I'm not really gonna use it for Ichiban here. However, I will use the Sea King's Talisman in the final long battle, you know? It does, you do get a use out of it at some point, because in the, I mean, I don't want to mention it until we're there, but it's too late. You're gonna need it. Like, the way I have things routed right now, it is basically impossible to no damage the final long battle if you don't have the Sea King's Talisman for at least one party member. But yeah, I always swore this guy moves first, but no, you get the first turn, and if you get the first turn, boom, you can just kill this guy. Just boom, we gotta just get straight to it. Let's not waste any time. You know, let's not troll around. Let's switch to Ichiban. Let's not do anything with Chitose right now. Ichiban, Ichiban, Ichiban. We need to kill. And don't waste the friendship meter on this guy because we need the friendship meter for 3 boss fights. The Shark, the Squid, and Bryce. And you may be wondering, how the fuck do you get the friendship meter ready for Bryce? You're about to find out. I actually have a technique. Oh, I say I have a technique, but it was actually like me scrambling at the very, like, one of the final fights and just getting very lucky and just like dragging it out to the point where I do get like, and here, oh my god, is the audio just kind of getting a little bit crazy there? There was like these little green arrows that keep showing up, and they were like on top of like my recording like word on Premiere, and I thought they were like the green arrows were like telling me how good my recording was, but no, I'm just kind of like hallucinating right now. And he just kind of disappeared into one of my party members' crotch. I don't know whose. Maybe it was Tomizawa's. Yeah, Tomizawa's in my party. But yeah, Adachi's not with us because like for this section I really wanted every single party member with like the highest agility, and just Adachi easily has the lowest agility. And yeah, by this point onward you don't have to worry about bombs or any mines. That's all done. Thankfully that gimmick was nowhere near as annoying as I thought it'd be. I thought that would be like the thing that would like end my runs, but no point in doing this level was any challenge involving the mines. Every single time I failed the no damage of this like long battle, it was something else. It was not the mines. So yeah, this one here, as long as you're not trolling and just get things done really efficiently, you should be fine. The second phase, as long as you deal enough damage and kill it very quickly, it's all good. That's beautiful. I love setting stuff up like that. Like the Cyclone just taking out all those guys, leaving like only this guy alive. And boom, we set up this very convenient throw slitter. Boom, bam, pow. Yes, every single one. I mean, you saw it when I showed it off my gear before starting off this level. Actually, did I show off my gear before starting this level? I might have not done it, but if I didn't do it, no worries, because later on in this long battle, I'm actually going to open up my menu, switch out my gear for like more agility for like the final boss, and pretty much just work my way down from there. So you'll get a good look at what my gear was for this thing, so you'll have a better idea what my stats were, you know, etc. So yeah, once we reach like the second phase, we're going to be spamming summons. You know, we got the boss fight there. We're going to be spamming attacks against the boss fight. Just Dolphin Dive comes in super clutch. Should be really easy to take this guy out. Not sure what I'm gonna do. Oh, I'm just gonna do a normal attack. Oh, I think it's because I'm trying to do something with Chitose. Like, just something cool. Like, come on. What am I gonna do? Wait, what? Oh, I think what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to, like, pretty much set up, the friendship attack for the squid. Because, you know, like, Junjin Han was, like, the last person who needs to do a move. Just trying to be really, really convenient here. So, what I used to do is I would like use Chitose. I would pretty much like make every single one of my party members do like a war cry. See, I'm opening up my gear right now. I'm just going through my menu very quickly, trying to get to the thing I need. I already know what every single party member needs. Like Ichiban's gonna get an Eye of the Dragon. Junjin Han's gonna get an Eye of the Dragon, or maybe a military soul. I don't know. Eye of the Dragon. Boom, bam, pow. He's gonna get more attack. Like his agility is nowhere near as good as the other party members, so no point in wasting time there. And also, one of his equipments gives him more agility the more enemies there are. So really, his agility is not even based on his stats; it's based on the amount of enemies in the room. So if there's a bunch of enemies in the room, he's just always gonna go first. Chitose will get the military soul, and that's that. Boom, we solve that. We use the healing pod, and we go for the squid. There we go. Yeah, I kind of wanted to pause the recording just to let it play out, but. No point in doing that right now. So yeah, this squid has an attack where it eats you, and in no normal gameplay I've done has that ever happened. Like I just killed the tentacles too fast. Like even when I wasn't no damaging, I just killed the tentacles too fast because you know just I don't want them tentacles there. So I never had to deal with that that attack. Honestly, I had to like literally force myself to not attack to see what the fuck people were talking about. Like what the fuck is this weird ass attack people keep mentioning? Like the squid just sends you to like an Ocarina of Time dungeon just in the middle of the fight. But yeah, no, that never happens. And also there's no way to go to that part of the fight without taking damage. So there's just no point in doing that for no damage. I love the little truncated summon there. The same thing happened in the Yakuza 7. So yeah. My strategy is just use this ultimate tag team of friendship attack as quickly as possible just to get like any stat boost from that. Like, you know, don't waste time doing war cries because honestly when you're fully leveled up here and have the amount of agility I have before entering this fight, you get so many turns before this squid makes any sort of move. So you get to do a lot of damage. And yeah, I will be switching over to Ichiban a whole lot, doing summons over and over again, you know, just doing as many high damage attacks as possible. And I want to talk about like the Tiger Palm Strike, because it's a great attack. However, it actually kind of requires skill to like pull it off successfully because it's very easy to fuck up. And if you fuck up, you lose like so much damage, you know, like you don't get to deal as much damage as you want. Because basically, like, if you miss any, like, strike, any, like, QTE, boom, like, the next hit of the combo doesn't hit. And, like, you really need every single hit of the combo to hit. Am I going to fuck it up? Am I going to do well? Boom. See, I fucked it up. And it's miserable. It's miserable. I mean, I'm glad that, I still managed to actually no damage this guy. But, like, you're supposed to, like, land every single hit. You're not supposed to miss it. Oh, dude. It's like, so unsatisfying when you miss that, like, that attack with the Tiger Palm Strike. But it is still a great attack. Does a lot of damage. And just kind of shows off that you can press buttons. You can, like, react to the QTEs really fast. It's not really about reacting to it. You really need to get, like, the feel for the timing down. Because if you don't have, like, the feel for the timing down, you're just not going to be able to do it. However, I do want to save around, like, 5 million or 6 million for Bryce. Because we're going to need it. Because we are going to be doing a lot of summons in that fight. However, a mistake I used to do is I would use summons. Like, Bryce has 3 phases, and I would use summons in the first and second phase, and what I learned is that's completely pointless if you have the setup I have right now. And here I think I'm just trying to drag out the squid fight as much as possible just to, like, you know, make everyone's friendship meter, like, last as long as possible. Like, boom, here, I'm trying to make, like, Junjin Han increase his friendship meter just because he doesn't get to attack that much because I keep switching over to Ichiban. I think here I'm like actually deciding, what should I do? What should I do? And I'm like, should I do the barrel? I'm gonna do the barrel, and the barrel kills the squid. Boom, bam, squid's down. Now, can you paralyze the squid? I don't know. I don't think you can because, like, I mean, I've done electric attacks before on this guy. It never paralyzes him, so I don't know if he can really be affected by any status ailments. Like, one of his tentacles is weak to fire, I think. The other one is like weak to water. One of them is weak to blade. I don't even know, man. But the thing is, you don't deal with the tentacles because one summon kills the tentacles, and we're going to kill the squid before he can summon the tentacles again because I'm not going to be doing no perfect guards on the squid like that. And then boom, man, pow. All we have is a little elevator shaft with easy enemies, and this is where we pretty much exploit the game in order to actually get very, very, very lucky in this one because I think one of my party members dodges an attack which should have been undodgeable, but I got to see how this plays out because... But I get to a point where an enemy actually gets stunned and we just exploit him for dear life just to get more turns in order to, like, actually build up the friendship meter because getting that friendship meter like build up to the max is super important for Bryce. Like honestly, like the strategy I made up for Bryce in this specific no damage was very much on the fly because like one very important thing went wrong, so I had to do another thing, and then the other thing actually went really, really well. So now I'm just taking out these enemies one by one because, you know, I kind of want to keep this guy around. But the one annoying thing about this fight is that even if these enemies are paralyzed, some of these enemies when paralyzed, they'll still attack you. So, you know, it's very inconsistent. So imagine getting this far in the run, trying to rely on an enemy being paralyzed, and then they just say, no, I'm not paralyzed, I'm going to attack you now. It's the worst shit ever. It's infuriating. So yeah, boom, just trying to, you know, pick my lot here, trying to see which enemy is paralyzed. And I think this is going to take out like 3 of them. I forgot that happened. 4. It almost killed every single enemy. It would have fucked up my run. Wait, did I just... Oh! I forgot I played out like that. I was not trying to like do that at all. I was just kind of like, oh, I guess my friendship meter is built enough. You know, I'll just deal with that in the next fight. But no, I try to do a combo attack, and the second hit misses, so he doesn't die. So now, we're just gonna exploit him for dear life, and we're just gonna keep like wasting our turns. We're gonna keep like, you know, doing like XL step or, you know, war cry, just very like, we're gonna do attacks that like don't actually deal any damage, just to like keep going, because like every single time an enemy, like a party member does a move, like, you know, it increases their friendship meters. We're just gonna keep doing that over and over and over and over. Chitose is not going to like substitution jutsu to, every time Chitose does a substitution jutsu, her like friendship meter increases, so her like choosing a specific party member to like also like do a move, her choosing a specific party member increases her friendship meter, and these guys like doing their moves increases their friendship meter. And, you know, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic of Weird Al marries Pinkie Pie and has babies with her. Literally what happens. I mean, if you don't know who Weird Al is, like, I feel like that probably goes over your head, but that's literally how the show ends. So yeah, that's just a little random trivia for today. Oh, my throat actually like itches a little bit from like talking too much, from yapping too much. Oh, I've caught the yap virus, or at least I hope that's all it is, because if it's anything more than that, I'm going to be very worried, because I'm going to be at an anime convention all day tomorrow. Oh, but this is actually, like, this run was so lucky. Like, literally, like, it just, at this final point, everything went right. And then, like, for Bryce, everything went right. But yeah, I pretty much just kind of locked down on a better strategy, but yeah, no, I was kind of, like, on the fly here, but now that you see that something actually works, and, like, am I the first person to do this? I have to be the first person to do this in one take. Like, from the beginning, like, from the shark to Bryce, I think I am the first person to do this. I can't think of anyone else who's done this. Like, there's people who have no damaged this final long battle, but they cut out the part with the squid, or they cut out the part with the shark at the beginning, and it definitely cut out the part with Bryce, because it's a fucking time commitment. But yeah, this was easily the most frustrating part of the game by far. I mean, hey, it is the final level. I mean, it's kind of warranted, but like, holy shit, dude. I failed with Bryce so many times. Like, I had the worst fail. I mean, I uploaded a video about this, like, how to fail the perfect Like a Dragon Infinite Well final dungeon, like, you know, no damage. Bit of a mouthful of a title. Say that 100 times fast. Say that infinity times fast. How's that? But yeah, no, to summarize, I got to Bryce, and I was trying to stun him or paralyze him, and it wasn't working out. So then, like, Bryce, he just kind of does this attack, like the little grenade attack. But every single one of my party members had the Sea King's Talisman equipped, and somehow I actually timed it that every single party member actually, like, perfect guarded the, like, grenade blast and dodged them. However, even though I perfect guarded them and used the Sea King's Talisman for, like, every single party member to dodge the attack, they still got the burn status ailment from the attack. So then when it was a character's turn, it was Tomizawa's turn, he still took damage from the burn. But, like, if that didn't happen, that would have been, like, the most stylish no damage Bryce of all time. But yeah, no, it's just, like, there's a couple, like, AoE attacks that are, like, actually possible to, like, you know, perfect guard and dodge. I think the one that's not possible to do so is that fuck-ass laser like Onomichio does, and the bald man! Bald! I don't think I should be doing the grumbling voice when my voice is already a little fucked up from yapping so much. But yeah, bald man that I hate! So yeah, no, that guy also does a laser attack that I don't fuck with. I'm pretty sure, like, even if every single party member had the Sea King's Talisman, you still can't avoid that attack. But the grenade attack, if you time it right and space it out right, I mean, spacing is just complete RNG, so, you know, there's that, but you can actually avoid it. with the Sea King's Talisman. And if you equip another item to, like, you know, not have any, like, status ailments from burns, you can avoid the damage from the burn. So you could plan it out that way. It's just that, holy shit, the timing for that, I don't know what the fucking timing for that was there. I just pressed the button randomly and it just worked. Like, yeah, no, you can avoid the primal press from the shark if you, like, time your perfect guard correctly. With every single party member having Sea King's Talismans. You can avoid this grenade attack if you press your thing correctly. But yeah, there's a lot of attacks that, like, I mean, the timing must be a pain in the ass. And yeah, but at the very least, you don't have to if you, like, set things up right or if things go really well for you. So yeah, for those first 2 phases, you can actually spam the fuck out of the laser to get rid of most of the enemies and deal a ton of damage to, like, the mini bosses there. Don't use any summons in phase 1 and phase 2 because you really do want to save all your summons for this phase. You want to do a big summon, then you want to do, like, the attack boost summon, you know, go from there. Bryce Fair, bitch! And we're gonna kill this fucking guy. Like, this fight goes wrong in the way where it, like, ensures my victory more, but honestly, if the fight went right with, like, everything I was, like, trying to do before, I think it still would have worked out. Honestly, it's a little weird to explain, like, right now. Here, I'm trying to see if Bryce can be charmed. He can't be charmed. And now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm trying to make him, like, afraid of... Oh, wait, no, it's still Ichiban's turn. So, yeah, boom. We're going to continue with the water thing there. So, yeah, the friendship attack, we're not going to do it until we have, like, most of our attack, like, you know, fully upgraded. I don't get to, like, you know, do it with the attack fully upgraded. So, yeah, here I'm going to let the cinematic play out in full because I thought I was going to make Bryce scared. It was going to be a whole fucking thing. Except I let this whole fucking cinematic play out and he doesn't get fucking scared. So, like, the strategy I was going to do is that once he gets scared, then I would just go full offensive on him because, you know, there will be one turn where he won't do anything because he's so scared. And I pretty much have to kill him before he gets a second turn because, like, when the enemies are afraid, it seems it doesn't last for, like, more than one turn of theirs. You know, they'll only, like, shudder in fear once, and then the second time, like, they'll stop being afraid. That seems to be the way it works out. So the plan was kill him before he reaches, like, his second turn. And honestly, I mean, like, right now, I have to waste a bunch of turns, like, you know, throwing jellyfish. I have to, like, adapt and just, like, okay, if he's not gonna get, like, afraid, I have to, like, make him paralyzed, you know? I only landed on, like, the last fucking hit. Yeah, this is the last hit, so... I mean, it was 2 times I had to, like, paralyze him in order for it to work. Except this time I'm going to try to go for, like, a little grenade. Because, you know, if the jellyfish doesn't work, then the mechanical grenade has to work. And it does work. So that's beautiful. However, the lucky thing about paralysis is that it does last for 2 turns. At the very least, it definitely does in this fight. So, you know, like, he's going to get another turn, but because he's paralyzed, you know, he's not going to move. And that pretty much saves my ass. So, however, with fear, if he gets a second turn, then he gets to move again. However, I'm pretty sure with the setup I had, I probably could have killed him before he got to that point, you know? Like, I didn't have to do, like, no jellyfish attack. I didn't have to do no fucking grenade. I would have done an attack that dealt more damage, the dolphin dive, you know? I would have been dolphin diving the shit out of him. And right now, we are going to boost our attack to a certain point. However, I'm only going to be able to boost my attack up until, like, twice. And then I'm going to do, like, the all-out attack because, like, that's, like, the last time I get to do it before, like, you know, the last time I get to do it before he, like, has his second turn. So I was like, well, maybe I'll kill him. I failed to kill him, but I do get him to his 3rd phase, which, you know, if he does move again, I would much prefer it to be in the final phase because, like, the characters seem to be more prone to, like, just actually evading the attack when he's in his 3rd phase, just swinging the sword wildly. Like, mind you, it's not perfect. And also, I have a hard time, like, just perfect guarding it. And also, it's, like, the last thing you do in this level. So, honestly, learning how to perfect guard that thing is very fucking annoying. But, yeah, no, we have to be very serious about this. No trolling, no trolling. We need to take every advantage we can get. Like, I mean, I see that, like, the next turn is going to be Jujing Hans, and I just get a bad feeling. I'm like, okay, if the next turn is Jujing Hans, and then the turn after that is Bryce's, I'm fucked if I don't do this, like, friendship attack right now. So I do the friendship attack right fucking now. And it was the right call to make, really. Like, there was no better way of going about it. Unless, you know, the fear actually struck, or if the paralysis, like, you know, went in, like, earlier. Just, like, a lot of boss fights in this video were, like, fucking... Oh my goodness, dude. Where they just refuse to get paralyzed, but they still get paralyzed. And even if they get paralyzed, they move anyway. Just a lot of annoying little things here. And here I thought maybe I'll kill him, but no. Doesn't deal enough damage. But it does feel him at the little nipple there.
いまいましいゴミどもめがこの生意気な小僧めが
It is time for the final long battle, and here I like leave in the part where I decide to not go because I want to show off my gear, and they just teleported in. Boom, there they are. So yeah, there's my gear, there's my gear, there's my gear. Yeah, no, Kiryu's squad will not be going, like, naked as fuck because we're not going to the beach. We're going to a building. It's going to have cold air conditioning. At least I think the Millennium Tower has cold air conditioning. I mean, fuck, it's been around so long. They got to have a good air conditioning system. And yeah, we're not dealing with that shit, all right? Like, we're not going to go naked as fuck. We got to put our clothes on. And Kiryu can't even be naked for this level. He's always going to have the suit on. And for, like, Saiko, I'm not going to let her wear anything but the fucking Awaken outfit, though, because I am awake, dude. So, like, and, like, the only person who could wear a bikini is, oh, I forgot how to say her name, like, Songhee? Like, I'm not gonna leave her alone on that, dog. It's either all or nothing. And, like, Namba, like, fuck it, dude. Like, we're going in suits. We are going professional to this final encounter. So, yeah, no, I mean, like, you would want to, like, get a little bit quirky with, like, you know, these, like, first two groups, but really, there's just so many of them. Just, like, stomp them, you know, use, like, your big... like kill everyone moves because you need as many turns dealing damage as possible. You do not want to waste any turns like that. But you know, I'll waste a few here and there. I'm not sure if I'm going to use Dragon of Dojima style here. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this, but I didn't mention it before. I do not like that the Essence of Friendship attack gets unlocked so late in the game. Like I think it's like chapter 7 or 9 where it gets unlocked. Like I think that I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. Also not a fan of, like, you know, your ability to, you know, go into real-time combat being locked behind Chapter 8, because the demo for, like, you know, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, like, I think, like, the one that came with, Like a Dragon Guide, and, like, the one that lets you, like, play Chapter 3, pretty much tricked you. Because, you know, it's the one you fight the police officer, it allows you to use Kiryu's, like, super awesome, like, fighting real-time ability, but for some reason, you get to the main game, and they just lock it behind Chapter 8, that is insane. That is actually insane. That should have been unlocked from the beginning of the game. It's like one of the most unique aspects of the game. Like, why is it like locked behind so many chapters and only then can you use it? It's frustrating. It's very frustrating because like it's so cool. It should have been done like unlocked earlier. Like, come on. I really hope Ichiban unlocks some sort of move like that. Thankfully, the paralysis does work. Is that this guy likes to not let the paralysis work. That was the craziest combo attack. I don't even know how Namba did that. It's hard to tell. But yeah, we don't have any ninjas in our team. We have a tennis player and an assassin. But they will still have the substitution jutsu because it's one of the most useful abilities in the game. It is the most useful ability in the game because it just allows you to use your most powerful party member over and over and over. I have 2 slots where I can just switch it out for the most powerful party. Are you seeing those reflections on the wall? That's awesome. You can't really avoid this group. They're too close to like the door you need to enter. There is this optional group like in the corner that, you know, you don't need to fight, and we're not going to fight them. But yeah, there's like 3 major things in this level that I'm really worried about. And then there's other aspects of this level which are really easy to mess up if you don't take it seriously, like some like baby crowds where, you know, if you don't do your best moves every time, then like, yeah, you might lose a turn, and then like that turn will be the enemy attacking you. But like the main 3 things I was really worried about is actually the enemies we're gonna fight. Oh, actually no, there was 4 things I was worried about, and then like one of those things I stopped being worried about it once we reached it because like, okay, but I'll explain. So the first thing is the mini boss we're gonna fight after we defeat these guys, because he's always gonna get the first turn, and in that first turn he does like a little death curse. And I mean, it actually never happened to me when I was like running this game right now, but I think it happened to me when I was doing like every single boss fight for like Yakuza 8 and my all boss fight no damage video, where like his little death dance, like some of my party members would get scared, and in their like getting scared, they would actually collide against the wall, and that counts as damage. But if you don't collide against the wall, and even if you get afflicted with a curse, but as long as you don't collide against the wall, you don't take damage. So that's good. So that was the one thing I was worried about here, but thankfully it did not end up being all that bad. The second thing I was worried about was like the mini boss, the guy who's like really fast with the scissors, because like I remember that he was like so fast that he would always do this like second attack, and the second attack would always screw me over. But the way it actually like ended up playing out when I'm fully upgraded here, like, you know, level 99, most of my party also level 99, the way it ended up playing out is that, yeah, he does get the first attack, but the first attack he always does is just like a very useless thing that won't attack you. And then you'll actually have enough turns to kill him before he has the second attack. you know, the way I'm spec'd out right now. So yeah, that little second worry became a nothing worry, and my 4 worries became only 3 worries now. So now the actual second worry is just like those Jinguan fuckers, like the CIA fuckers that you end up fighting near the end of this level, because they will always get the first turn, and you have to perfect guard that attack with like the Sea King's Talisman. You have to avoid it, because if you don't, then yeah, you take damage, because you can't like outspeed that first attack. And thankfully, like, I actually watched my original like a Dragon Infinite Wealth all boss fights no damage video commentary to like actually see if I had any good strats for that, and the strat which helped me out the most is that the timing for the perfect guard is not when the energy comes out, it's when they point the gun at you. Like when the gun's pointing at you, that's when you press the perfect guard button, and that's how you perfect guard it with the Sea King's Talisman. And once we get back to that fight, I'm gonna mention that again, and just it makes sense. It makes sense. Like, it was like honestly intuitive. So yeah, this crowd, you can actually skip them, but I fucked up. Like I just couldn't break this chair in time. I was like a little bit of a weak Dragon of Dojima. I was like a Dragon of Babyjima. That did not work at all. That didn't work at all. But yeah, no, with these crowds, you know, let's not like troll around. Let's use a summon. Let's use like a big area of oh, I'm gonna troll. I'm gonna do a little weapon attack. I was actually hoping to take out 2 guys with a weapon, but whatever. At the very least here, you can like kind of do a little silly thing with either the whip or like the bombs with like Psycho, and that'll work out. Oh yeah, the whip works really nice. So yeah, just like one little summon, and I guess I tried to get creative with Beast, but it didn't end up playing out too well. There's like there's a couple risky like maneuvers in this like no damage attempt from what I remember. There's definitely one in the final boss, honestly one that scares me. Like I don't know how Kiryu does it, but I think there's also one in like the big epic like, you know, team up fight, which happens later on. You don't kill any of them with that, but you do deal a lot of damage to them. And here, do I try to do the bomb? Oh no, I'm just not gonna mess around. Just Kiryu, do it again. Wait, am I gonna try to beast with Kiryu again? That would be really fun. Oh, I'm gonna beast with Kiryu again. Oh, that's fun. So will this hit 2 people? Ah, that did not work as well as I would have wanted. That is actually a little disappointing. Oh, I'm gonna do substitution jutsu again for Kiryu, because I don't want to mess around. I think like at this point I realize it's kind of hopeless. We gotta do like the basic attack. Like there was no say. I tried to be stylish and it just didn't end up playing well. So yeah, gotta move on. Gotta kill our darlings here. However, one thing which does annoy me is that like the little healing station is placed here. When really, like, I mean, I wanted this healing station, like, you know, I mean, you do need this healing station for the fights coming up, but then after this fight comes another really epic fight, and then after that epic fight comes, like, a fight where you fight, like, probably, like, the most amount of enemies in one room, like, and they're, like, weak to, and they're, like, resistant to fire, so you can't, the little big kill everyone move doesn't work as well with that specific group. It's insane. But yeah, that little thing, everyone's just gonna clump together, boom, Dragon of Dojima. Is she, what, oh, we're gonna do this. Just to be a little bit stylish here. The one thing about Kiryu being a party member is that you can't use the friendship attack. So you can just actually use these attacks and like have it serve a purpose. Though to be fair, she has better attacks than that, but whatever. It's cool, it's stylish, and for this specific crowd, it works out decently well. Who's gonna die? Oh, 2 of them died. Kiryu helps out there, so now all that's left is that guy, and thankfully only 1 turn, so we're gonna go with boom. I mean, if it works, it works. Little drunky. So yeah, all the enemies just disappear when I take that one guy out. So yeah, I was really, really worried about this mini-boss here. But he ended up being a lot easier than I expected. I highly doubt I'm going to do court maintenance because, you know, I just want to kill him as fast as possible. Because this guy gave me so much grief in my first, like, you know, all boss fights, like, no damage video. Just because, like, I guess I wasn't fully upgraded. My agility wasn't all there, but it was terrible. It was, like, awful. I think I'm trying to decide what to do. Oh, no, Essence of Dragon God. That's what I'm going to do. Boom. I think I'm actually saving like my little real-time combat ability for like the fight that's coming up after this. But yeah, we're just gonna kill this guy as fast as possible. Like, I think I kind of wanted to do something with Psycho, but I was like, nah. We need to kill him. We can't fuck around with him. Oh, but no summons though. I'm saving my summons because we don't really need the summons. I mean, you just do Dragon of God there, do another fire attack there. So yeah, with the way my party is spec'd right now, everything worked really, really well. Am I gonna play this? Let this entire animation play out? It's just like I'm never really going to do this attack again, so this is a good time to just kind of stop and smell the roses. Just The beginning of this video, I let this attack play out like in its entirety, and now I'm just doing it again at the end of the video. It's epic, dude. And he's wearing a sick suit. Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, it's good that it's only 9:21 p.m. and it's not like 2 a.m. Ooh, but I really wanted to finish this video before then. I think I wanted to finish it at 7, but I just did not use my time as efficiently as I wanted. I mean, I'm just kind of getting a little burnt out just talking so much in this video for the commentary. But I honestly, I mean, like, I do like the pacing of this one. Just I think the music, like, I mean, the music carried the Yakuza 7 final like dungeon so much, and the music is definitely carrying this dungeon as well. I mean, this dungeon is just nowhere near as frustrating as a 7 dungeon. I mean, it's just easier, you have save points, but the music is fucking crazy. And here, boom, we're gonna try to like do something here, but it doesn't kill that many enemies, sadly. So that's a shame. I get really lucky that I get another turn after this. Well, I don't even know if that's true. I mean, I'm lucky this ended up being no damage. Is that I've had attempts where, like, after I do one attack and, like, all my party members do another attack, I get another turn. See, I didn't even like perfect guard that. He just dodged it because he could. I got extremely lucky. I'm like, I got scared. I'm like, no, I cannot fuck around here. I need to like kill these guys ASAP. Oh, and it didn't even work out, so I have to like do the big dragon god move. And yeah, I think I drank a bunch of coffee before entering this arena because I did not want to backtrack to the healing room just to like heal my magic. I'm just gonna heal my magic by drinking a bunch of coffee, and I'll do it again. I will drink all the coffee I want. And here, like little Akiyama, I didn't want to go all the way because I did want to use like my Dragon of Dojima real-time combat ability just to kill the rest of these guys off. And once I killed all these guys off, I'm gonna actually I think I'll stop talking now. Why not? Now that I can run this game at 4K 60 FPS, yeah, no, that little sequence is really awkwardly animated and like choreographed. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm like yapping a little bit. Just like the character just teleporting into the scene, like just like Majima just teleports like right behind Seiryu. I mean, it's still like decently cool, and like I mean, you gotta help it. The music, oh my goodness, the music for this section is beautiful, dude. Oh, dude, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's composed by the same guy who did the Victory Road theme in Yakuza 5, like Hide Lunch. I've got Hide Lunch. Oh, I forgot how to say his name. Hide Lunch. He's like one of my favorite composers in like Yakuza. He's made some of my favorite tracks. Love that dude. Oh my goodness. And this is one of them. Like, holy shit, this track goes fucking crazy. And yeah, it's using like the same like motifs or like rhythms from like the Impregnable Triangle when you fight these guys, you know, like Majima, Saejima, and Daigo. It's using like similar motifs, but like in a more epic fashion. Oh, it's beautiful, dude. It's gorgeous. And also, like someone pointed out like the specific detail of this theme, where like if you listen close near the end, you can actually hear like the hospital beeps of like I guess Kiryu when he's in the hospital, or like when he's like getting treated for cancer or whatnot. You can actually hear the hospital beeps like. Eek, eek. It's very, very subtle, but it's like holy shit. That's a great fucking like touch right there. It's so worth noting. Like, it just brings everything together. Just like this theme and like the final boss fight theme has like so many like little touches that just make them like really fantastic. Oh my goodness, I'm just so sad that my audio just keeps glitching out with my commentary. It's just gonna be like so many. My audio's too crunchy, too poppy. I don't want that. I guess I really do need a new microphone. So yeah. The fun part about this section is that you can skip a majority of these enemy encounters, except I'm pretty sure I fail. I failed to skip the first one, but if you set yourself up right, you can probably skip this. But whatever, it's no biggie. Just a little weapon attack there. Yeah, the one thing is you really do have to worry about Kiryu running out of like magic power. Because like with Ichiban, it doesn't really feel like I have to worry too much about that with him. But like with Kiryu, like I guess like the way I have him spec, like he just doesn't have that much magic, and like his abilities cost more magic to pull off anyways. So yeah, it's a real worrisome trait there. And then boom, we get to do this little thing. I made this part of the thumbnail for like my no commentary version. I don't know what thumbnail I'm gonna make for my commentary version. I just kind of keep putting like squares together and hoping for the best. But yeah, for this, and also we have this little helicopter section, which I was kind of worried about. I get a little bit risky with the way I deal with this helicopter in one part, but it pays off. However, I mean, you're gonna realize what the sadness is once we get there, but there's like a certain cutscene I skipped, which I really should have not skipped. So yeah, like I mean, for this first part, you can run straight to like the last barrier, but you know, be very careful. You don't go beyond it, and be very quick with it, because if you're not quick enough, then you might get caught. You can catch a stray. So yeah, this guy, I'm pretty sure you can skip them just by running really, really fast, and you can skip the third crowd. You can skip the first crowd, but you know, I failed. So yeah, for this one, I don't know what I do. I think I try to go to the second one. Oh, the second one's easy to go to. So yeah. I'm pretty sure if you run fast enough, you can go to the third one again, but you know, whatever. I went to the second one, then from there, I just go up the stairs. I think like this one, I do something like pretty risky. And wait, were those stairs going down or up? Now here, do I skip this crowd or not? Ooh, I do skip them. Very, very nice, very smooth. I think here I'm like, you know, charging up my magic just because I know I have to fight those fuck-ass, like, Jingu soldiers, even though they're, like, part of the Seiryu Clan. But yeah, I hate them. I hate the fact that they have, like, an attack at the very beginning. So yeah, we go here, first barrier, and then from there, I think I try to go to the third barrier, and that's what's really risky. Like, ooh, that is so risky. That is scary. Oh, man. But yeah, no, I succeeded, and it was really nice and cool. So yeah, this level, I think it's gonna be like 2 hours or so, no damage. Easier than the Nele Island, but still like decently tough. And you know, I mean, like just at certain sections where you actually have to be a little bit skillful here. So yeah, we reach this little section here. The Jingu soldiers break in. The graphics become really like HD for a second. Then we're gonna go to not so HD for gameplay, even though it still is really HD. And you have to do this perfect guard perfectly with the Sea King's Talisman. So when the gun is pointing at you, like that. Not but when the flames come out, when the gun is pointed straight at you, that's when you perfect guard. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's like very helpful if you try to like do this little challenge here. And now we're gonna kill these guys, and thankfully killing them is very easy with the way I'm spec. Just boom, summon fire, summon fire. And yeah, we want to have enough money, like around 6 million or so for the final boss fight. I mean like 7 million, 8 million, you know, give or take. And yeah, no trolling around. We're gonna do substitution jutsus. We need to kill these guys. These guys are assholes. We need them dead now. Just, oh, it keeps glitching out. I mean, honestly, I kind of want to like, every time like my audio keeps glitching out, I do a thing where, like, I just turn the program off and I turn it back on again. I'm just gonna do that real quick. I'll be right back. Oh, this is where the sadness kicks in. Basically, I just skipped the cutscene where Kiryu like takes out the helicopter by dynamically dodging like the machine gun fire and throwing a grenade into like the cockpit. Like, I feel like that's like the one time a cutscene wouldn't be skippable, you know, like in Yakuza 6, like a similar thing happens, but he uses a rocket launcher, and you can't skip that cutscene because it's part of like, you know, the gameplay, the little dynamicness. But no, you can just skip it. It's like, what? Anyways, here's, oh no, not yet. Here's the dynamic intro. I'm gonna stop talking right now. I still love the big kick he does to Zhao. It's such a big and mighty kick. I want to do that still. But yeah, no, I didn't make a big deal about it, but Zhao is not in my party. His agility is the worst out of like all the four, so I decided to get rid of him. Also, when he wears his golden swimsuit, he has a fucking shirt on. Like he's what the fuck are we doing here, dude? Like I mean, if I wanted to go like balls to the wall, like everyone naked right now in the fucking tower, Zhao can't be part of that, dude. He's always wearing a shirt, dude. Like what are you trying to hide, dude? Are you shy? Like what the fuck, dude? I could not have that. That guy is not serious. He's not down for the cause, man. So he just could not be part of the team for this final fight. But you know, the strategy is I'm gonna spam sword like summons, basically just Kaoru, over and over again, and then just do like stun moves until he gets stunned. It takes like 5 different stuns to actually get him paralyzed. It's ridiculous. It drives me up a wall. It's like at the very final stun, it like works. It works, air quotes. You're about to see what I mean. But like, holy shit, yeah. We're just gonna like, we're still gonna be dealing some damage, you know, because we still need to lay some thick damage on him. Oh, and then boom! I like that he collided against the wall, a little extra damage. Just jellyfish, 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 jellyfish until it works. Like we gotta keep going with jellyfish. Like imagine like, you know, going through that entire run, and also like in this run, this is actually the first time I perfect guarded like, you know, the Jingu soldier, and it worked. So I was like, oh my goodness, if this is the run I get, like this is gonna be like the best run ever. So if I don't get this run, I'm fucked. I really, really need this run to go well, and it does go well. I'm just saying, like, holy shit, it was so fucking scary. And yeah, we're saving like the real-time combat for the second phase, because if we do the real-time combat now, I think we'll just get to the second phase, and it just won't be as effective. And also, I'm just trying to like upgrade my attack using the hostesses. And yeah, at the final turn, he just decides to hit me anyways. He dodges. Kiryu like using his evasion and agility dodges. I did not time that. That's just the character using his stats to dodge it. That never happens. Like what the fuck? What is this? Yakuza 7? I mean, I guess it is for like the final boss. Like that was beautiful. That move could have fucked over everything, but no, he dodged it. That was a blessing. That was like the game like rewarded me, like congratulations. But I have no fucking idea how Kiryu did that. Like he is not supposed to do that. That's like the rarest shit ever. But he fucking did it, man. Hell yeah. So now we gotta get him to the second phase, and like, you know, once he does an attack in the second phase, it's a healing thing. So we don't gotta worry too hard. But you could kind of set yourself up in like fucked up situations if you don't take things too seriously. And yeah, once we reach the second phase, we're also going to be doing the dolphin move just because he becomes weak to water at that point. Not sure if I'm going to rush it. I think right now I'm just sticking to the sword moves because in this first phase, he is weak to swords. And I believe a dynamic thing is going to happen very soon. Yep. I like how it just swings back to Joe Sawashiro all fucked up in that chair after getting jobbed on. But yeah, no, all we have to do now is like, I think now we're going to spam. Oh yeah, we're going to continue doing summons because the most amount of damage we can do, we're always going to do. I think I'm going to actually waste all of my infinite wealth just to make sure this guy dies, because like that opportunity where Kiryu just dodges the attack of his own free will, that does not come often. You have to take advantage of that. And here we're just going to go with the whole little dragon thing, even though I do it pretty suboptimally. Like I end up like fucking around, not like missing a lot of my shots. Like right now, I'm missing a lot of my shots here, and also just not landing like another heat action one in a long while. But whatever, 7,870, still good enough. And oh, his next turn is gonna be a little deadly. Except he's just gonna do a little healing thing, so it's all good. Even though it says that he's gonna have another turn, it doesn't happen. So I'm not sure if the paralysis affected that, or if that move specifically takes 2 turns to pull off. Like I don't know, but whatever. We're going to kill this guy. He's going to die, and it's going to be real epic. And how close are we to the end of the video? Oh, like a minute away. Actually, we're going to be a minute away in like 30 seconds. But yeah, we're very, very close to this video being done and over with. So I think I'll just say my goodbyes right now. So, you know, thank you so much for sticking around for another 3-hour-long odyssey of a video. And Kiryu's just kind of glitching out over there. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and sticking around. And I'll see you all then for my next video. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking around, and I'll see you all there. I'm just kind of repeating myself at this point. There was another thing I used to say around here, yeah? I'm on the edge of my seat, and I will be on the edge of my seat.